What we do here is go back.
And hopefully we are live. You never know, it might have worked. Fingers crossed, we're working, it's live, we're all good. I forgot, still got my hat on. It's been very cold in here today. Good evening everyone, this is the last live stream of 2023. Hopefully you've all had a wonderful Christmas and are looking forward to getting a little bit lathered tomorrow night, New Year's Eve, which is traditional for most people in, I think, most places around the world to have a few drinks and to celebrate the end of another year, and looking forward to a happy and prosperous new one. Let's see if we're working. Is the audio working?
We're live, audio and video good.
Audio and video good, excellent stuff. And thanks already to those who sent in super chats. You are most kind. First one we had in was 10 Australian dollars from Michael T.
Hold on, see?
And he said, "Hi Mike, Kath, Kitties and fellow mothers. Hope you had a great Christmas. Enjoy your PCs and gaming." Thank you very much, Michael T. There is your RGB lights show. I was going to say stream and show at the same time then. Oh, indigestion, sandwiches. And there was another one come in, £2 from a good friend of the channel, Ugly Bob. It says Disco Disco, birthday disco. Yes, it is actually, we should quickly say a massive happy birthday to a good friend of the channel, Colin Hilton, who as of yesterday has managed to accumulate 80 years on this earth, flat or round, whichever your preference may be. But Colin Hilton is 80 years young. Many happy returns of the day for yesterday, and only another 20 to go until you get your letter from the King, which no doubt you're massively interested in getting. There may be some slight sarcasm in that there. I don't think he's particularly keen. But happy birthday, Colin. Hope you had a great one. Even though the weather in the UK is absolutely horrendous at the moment. There's another super chat from Glenn as well. £4.20 blazing. Thank you very much. He says, "Monies, be listening on the phone. Have a good one." Thank you, Glenn. We will try to. Also, Mick Woods sent in a super chat as well. God bless you, Mick. And he said, "Looking forward to the last live stream of 2023. Will be a new..." Oh, I can't see what it says there. This is... We've got to change this setup somehow. If I click on it, will it do it? No, it won't. Let me see if I can find it. There we go. Looking forward to the last live stream of 2023. We'll be a few minutes late though. We'll watch on 1x speed to catch up. That's probably about the optimum speed to watch it at, to be fair.
Chipmunk voice.
Hey?
Chipmunk voice.
Yeah, I sound like one of the chipmunks. Mark Barry says, "Mike is famously late." I wasn't late, was I? Maybe I was.
All famous.
Ugly Bob sent a £10 super chat as well following that, and says, oh hang on, I better find that one.
Gonna blow the bulb soon.
Yeah, there goes the Lecky bill. Got a great book for Christmas, all about Teflon. If you want a copy, you'll find it in Waterstones under non-frictional. Boom. Non-friction it says. I added the "oh" at the end. A little bit of artistic license on my behalf there.
Bristolian. Got to have an L on the end.
And then there's another super chat from Ugly Bob.
Oh, wrong one.
So happy birthday, Mr. Hilton, you absolute flipping legend. He certainly is. He's a legend in his own lifetime. And it just goes to show that technology in general and computers, gaming, etc. isn't just for the young or the young at heart. It's for basically anyone. So whether you're 5, 50, 100, whatever it is, PC gaming and technology is something which everyone can be into, which is why we try to maintain a somewhat of a base level on this channel. So we don't cater for young gamers, we don't cater for streamers, we don't cater for nerds, middle-aged nerds, or old people getting to grips with PCs for their first time.
Cater for cat lovers.
We cater for cat lovers, yeah. No, we cater for everybody. So whether you're just starting out, whether you're a seasoned professional, hopefully the channel you should find a little bit of something for everyone. Yes, not every video is going to be something you're going to be over the moon about, but in general the content is designed to cover a very wide demographic of people. So hopefully, well, those of you that are with us on the live stream, you already know what it's all about, hopefully, so you understand where we're coming from with that. Another super chat there from Rick H. God, they're flying in tonight. Thank you so much. Rick H, $20 there, says, built a mud box. Excellent stuff. That is a B450M Pro-M2 Max, 3200G, DDR4 3200, 3600 with an overclock, and a GTX 750. What a banging little system that'll be. Nice one, Rick, and thank you for the super chat. Much appreciated. And let's see what else. Is there anything else? Aletta says, I love cats, especially with hot sauce. I don't think that's really how you're meant to enjoy felines. Anyway, Hayden says that ARC A770 box looks massive. It is actually huge, isn't it? Considering it's actually not that powerful a card in terms of what is available on the market. But it is a triple fan one and it does run particularly cool. And is part of tonight's build stream. Or, yeah, stream build, whatever you want to call it. So tonight on the stream, hopefully, we will get this done, finished, and it will be working. You never know. On our Intel system. So this is actually something a little bit different than what we normally tend to do here on the channel. Normally, when we're doing builds, it's normally like trying to get the best value for money or the cheapest possible setup we can for what is around at the time. But with this, it's kind of a little bit different. This is more of a, I wouldn't say a future-proof build because there is not really any such thing, but it is a build which contains a lot of, I would say, mid-range to high-end components which are suitable for pretty much any type of build, whether they be, if your first PC or maybe it's a work PC, you're going to be doing streaming, going to be doing video editing or gaming, whatever it is. But you don't want to spend an absolute fortune, but you want something which is going to be nice and powerful and just get the job done without skimping or saving anywhere, which is unnecessary. So we've got some really nice parts in this build, some of which kind of, I would say, hand-picked, because most of them I've actually bought myself or have requested, etc. So starting off the build, we have the somewhat legendary, I feel, the Intel i5-13500. This is an absolutely cracking processor, looking at 8 performance cores, all with hyper-threading, plus you've also got the efficiency cores in there as well. So I think this is like 20 cores or something. Or is it 8 performance cores? 6 performance cores, hyper-threaded, 12 threads. And sorry, Kath says I've got to look at something. Hang on a second. Nick Barnes has sent us a super chat as well, should say that, although via PayPal, which you're more than welcome to do. Links or information on how to do that is in the video description. So if you do want to send us money and you don't want to use YouTube to do it, you're more than welcome to do it through PayPal. Nick Barnes sent in £10, says, Happy New Year, Mike, Kath and family. All the best for 2024 from Nick, Joe and Molly. Thank you so much. It's much appreciated. Good thing with PayPal as well, if you are sending donations in or anything, we basically get pretty much all of the money. So with YouTube, unfortunately, there is a processing fee and they take like 30% off, whereas PayPal, it's kind of almost feeless. We still have to pay the taxman, unfortunately. So the taxman gets his cut of the earnings, but in terms of giving us the most, then PayPal is excellent. Or also you can do it via, I think you can do it with Ko-fi, and also you can do a direct payment, I think now, from Patreon. Which is cool. If you want to do that, you don't have to. Just saying, should you wish to. So anyway, yeah, great little processor, this one. I really liked it. I actually bought this specifically for doing video editing, and it wasn't, well, I would say it was probably about a month or two that I was using it, and then MSI, God bless them, offered to send me a 13900K to do some testing on one of their motherboards, which obviously, yeah, you'd be a fool to turn it down. So the 13900K is in my video editing PC, and the 13500 has been sat around kind of waiting for, just waiting for a build to go into. I've had it, it's been handy just in case I've had any issues with my system where I could sort the processors out, but fortunately, being this Intel platform, you don't get many of those issues. So this has basically remained in its box pretty much most of its life. So I've decided now is the time that this really needs to go into a PC and get some use, whether that be here, whether that be at Kath's desk, ideally. Don't think it will be because she don't want a computer. Or if not, we'll just put it onto like Facebook Marketplace, and hopefully someone local will get a nice PC for an extremely, extremely good price. Basically, I'll try and make back money on what I've bought, if at all possible, and anything which I've received as donations or freebies from suppliers, they basically get that free of charge. So just covering our costs. Yeah, so that's where we are. So 13500, great processor, isn't unlocked, which is an unfortunate thing, which some people will say, well, do you really want to overclock a 13500? Probably not, to be honest with you. The platform itself does run a little bit on the warm side, so overclocking it, unless you've got some skills and know how to do it, it's probably best to just leave it alone and let it get on and do its thing. It certainly isn't a slouch. So in terms of gaming or actually video editing, runs really, really nicely. And of course, because it's got the built-in graphics as well, the Intel A770, then that can take advantage of things like quick sync. So in video editing is really good. And also does work very nicely in tandem with the Intel ARC graphics cards. So they have this kind of synergy between them so they can share tasks. So yeah, a very good platform for our system. Other things, basic kind of stuff. So storage, we're going with a Crucial P3 Plus. P3 Plus is a little bit better than the P3, so it's got onboard cache. This one is a 1 terabyte drive, so there is a gigabyte of onboard cache there for caching or buffering your data. Nice drives, 5-year warranty with those, pretty decent. RAM, I'm not too sure if this even works. I got this ages ago from, I think it was somebody on Discord. I'm not going to say it was, just in case it doesn't work. This is GSkill Trident Z Neo. This is the DDR4 3600, so 16 gigs there. And it's in a really nice shape and color and style to go with the rest of our build. So it's basically going to be black, chrome and white, which kind of works really well with that RAM. So nice RAM there. Motherboard wise, we're going with the MSI B760 Tomahawk Wi-Fi DDR4. Again, fantastic board. I've been using this pretty much up until very recently. I've just switched out to a DDR5 platform on my video editing rig. So again, I know this board is great. Very, very stable. Works brilliantly. No issues with it whatsoever. Just a really nice, sturdy, stable board. So again, if I'm potentially going to be selling the system, I don't want it to be a pain in the backside and have problems or weird gremlins. I know this just works and works well. So that is going to be an excellent platform. And if you want to, again, you can use 13900K on there. Just because it's a B-class chipset doesn't mean that it's holding back. It just means you can't do overclocking, and it lacks some of the other nicer features that you'd get with the additional PCI Express lanes on a Z-class motherboard. So that is that. Power supply wise, now the power supply I deliberated over for a long time. I've got a few options, but being that we're using a Thermaltake case, which is the Series 500, the Series 300, I thought it'd be nice to put a Thermaltake power supply in there as well. Now, because the system doesn't really need a particularly high-end power supply, but having said that, again, reliability, longevity, and potentially upgrading in the future, I thought it'd be a nice idea to put something in there which isn't ridiculously expensive, but will get the job done. So this is the Thermaltake Smart Zero Fan technology in here on the Smart BM3. This is a 750 watt. This is a bronze rated power supply. I think this is particularly going to be well suited for this build. ATX 3.0, so very good standards there. Also got the 5-year warranty and PCI Express Gen 5. So if and when the 40 series come out or Battlemage series come out with those new PCI Express Gen 5 connectors on, this power supply is ready and waiting for that, so no problems there. If you're looking at my eyes and I'm looking over to the side like this, because I can see flames in the window. That's a hint for Kath to open the window.
Just let him out.
Oh, is it? He's just sat there, is he?
Yeah, he's looking out. Coming in.
Okay.
He's sitting out in the rain.
So anyway, with that out of the way, graphics card, we know this, we love this already. So this is the Asrock. This is the ARC A770 8GB version, Phantom Gaming, really cool running card, triple fan on there, idles really low temperatures, and even under load gaming, kind of 60 degrees thereabouts. Runs really nicely. Not really anything I can complain about that, other than sometimes, depending on the monitor you're running, you can find it there is a little bit too much power draw, but that's easily rectified with a few simple tweaks, which we'll do in advance. But having said that, I've been swapping this out between my RX 6800 and this, and I'm still kind of unsure which one I actually prefer using in terms of like for a production system. And I keep on going back to this one, so I might actually take this out after and put in RX 6800 and get rid of that, but we'll see how things go. Yes, Kath?
Michael T says he's got his beanie and loves it now. Just got to wait for winter.
Oh, nice one. Glad to hear it, Michael. The beanies are still available. There's a few left, I think. Not a great deal. Very, very, very limited numbers of the pink. The black ones, there's, well, still limited numbers. But if you do want one, they are, what do you say, £10 plus postage, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I will get one to show you, because some of you who live in slightly colder places at the moment will be wanting one of these beauties. So that is the Mike's unboxing Snowstar hat with a multicoloured bobble. Really nice stitching, embroidered, etc. Very nice hat. Keeps you nice and warm. Well, I need it now because we've just put the heating on, but goes down, covers up all your neck and all that. Ooh, keeps all the chills out. Actually feels quite nice. I'm tempted to leave it on, but I won't do, because I'll get all sweaty, and that is never a good look when you're trying to do a live stream. There we go. So that is that out the way. Yeah, graphics card wise, for Intel's first outing, I'll say it's not the first outing, they've done other graphics cards, but in terms of their modern outing, I think they've done a really good job with this. Runs really nicely. The drivers are updated on such a regular basis. It's just incredible how often they're actually doing this. For those of us, myself included, that thought that due to the initial release and the kind of slightly lukewarm reception it received, I thought it was doomed. I really did. But it does seem that Intel are sticking to their guns. They're going for it. The Battlemage GPUs have been, basically they've been sent out to the manufacturers. They're being built. So it's all good stuff. It is going to happen. So Intel are going to keep with us. I've had another PayPal donation come in from a good friend of the channel and general all-round, just a generally good guy actually. Stuart Cleary sent us £30 and says, Happy New Year. Thank you very much, Stuart. Stuart is one of those that likes to get a little bit tipsy on a Saturday evening, as we all do, and post a load of music on the Discord, which I would suggest actually if you want to join the Discord, you can do. I'll put the links on the screen right now. So if you're not on our Discord, then you can join. Doesn't cost anything, and there's a lot of, well, there's a very diverse community of people. We've got just under, I think, 3,700 members now. Not everyone's on there all the time, but it's yeah, it's good. So pretty much most of the day there's stuff going on, people posting stuff, questions, general chat, music stuff, fun stuff, memes, all that kind of stuff. So if for some reason you are one of those people that just likes to be part of a community, you're more than welcome to join. Or maybe you're someone who just finds this time of year a little bit lonely, and like you've watched all the YouTube videos, you've gone through your Amazon Prime subscription list, and you're basically sick to death of whatever news is on the TV, you can head over to our Discord and just have a chat about any old stuff you want to, tech, politics, whatever you want to do. The choice is entirely up to you. Letter says, BRB, need to find something to eat. Don't blame you. Skystalker says, very generous, Stuart. He is very generous. And good evening to you, Skystalker. Good evening to all of you. All of the regulars and anyone who's joined us for the first time who have not been to a Mike's Unboxing live stream before. You probably will regret it, but it's yeah, it's a really nice community, and we are blessed to be just a part of it, to be honest with you. Colin Hilton is now in the chat. I've just seen him in there.
He's been in for ages.
Oh, he's been in for ages. Yeah, I just seen it pop up at the bottom there. Colin, many happy returns for yesterday.
That's Maisie scratching in a...
80 is a glorious age. It really is. Well done. Let's have a slurp. Right.
That in stereo.
Yeah, we did. Some other things which I've not managed to quite pull off as I expected to. So in the thumbnail and also in the video description, there was supposed to be a Thermaltake 360mm AIO going into this. There's kind of two reasons why that isn't going to happen. The first reason is because the one that I selected was actually the Thermaltake toughliquid 360, which I pulled out of the box and looked, well, not out of the box, I pulled out of the shelf where it lives, and I realised that it doesn't have addressable RGB fans on there. And the point with this case is because it's a little bit more compact, you can't put a 360mm radiator in the roof, which would have been the preferable place to put it with not having RGB on it. And I thought if I put it in the front without having RGB on it, it's going to be one of those things that might detract somewhat from the build and from people's expectations and kind of what they want to see. The second reason was I stupidly tampered with it, and it's making some funny noises now. So I'm going to have to do a complete strip down of that, see what's going on, get some fluid. I stupidly put in water from the tap when I tried to refill it, which I don't think has done a great job. I think it might have gummed it up somewhat because our water here in Bristol isn't particularly nice, and it was just tap water. So they say you should never do that, and I'm kind of agreeing with them now that you never should. So that isn't going to happen. So instead of that, I think this is going to be the better option. So this is the Silentium PC Navis F240 ARGB. So we've got some addressable RGB lighting on here, and we can put a 240mm radiator in the top section, still keep the other fans in the front. So I think this is going to look much nicer. And also I was thinking, really, the 13500 is a cracking processor, but does it need a 360mm AIO? I don't think it does, not really, to be honest with you. So I think a 240 is going to be a much better solution. I was also considering going air cooling, but I actually don't have a lot of air coolers here at the moment. So it is going to be the Silentium PC that we're going to stick in there. Yes, Gav?
Lars has asked, can we stop the flashing lights? Because he's got epilepsy. But we've also got super chat. So can we look away now?
Yeah, all I can say is with the, if you've got epilepsy or you don't like the flashing light, yeah, that is a bit problematic. I wonder if it would be so bad if we left the main light on. We will... Lars, would that be okay if we did it with the lights on so it isn't as... what's the word I'm looking for?
Flashy.
Yeah, like contrasty. And if I cover the bulb up so it's not visible. Try that, Kath, see what that's like. Warning, the lights will start flashing slightly, so if you have epilepsy or any other things like that, then is that alright? Is that bearable? Can we live with that?
Can't see it on screen much.
Yeah, you can see a little bit there. Yeah. You can see it's happening.
My screen's behind, that's why. So,
Ugly Bob says, if it's triggering people's epilepsy, then I reckon it would be cool being disco-less. Better safe than sorry.
Try,
that seems much better.
So is that okay now then?
Laura says it's okay. So it's okay like that?
And there is a super chat.
There was a super chat. Let me see if I can move that around a minute.
Ah.
And without being too... That might still be a bit too much. Is that too much?
And if they're in another stream, let us know.
Ugly Bob says you can just play the fanfare sound on your deck. Oh. Let me see if I can move that. Is that working round? That's probably too much. Alright, we'll ditch that then. Turn it off, Kath.
But there is a super chat.
There was a super chat, so thank you, Michael T, for your $5 Aussie dollars. Says for Mike to do the stripping. What stripping was that? For Mike to do the stripping. Oh, was that to do the stripping of the AIO? To get rid of the gunk in it? I don't think I can do the stripping because I don't have... I need to order a bottle of replacement fluid to go into the AIO. Even though it doesn't use a lot, I think it's only like 100 ml at the most. Possibly even less than that, but I do need to order some. So I will get that on order. Maybe we'll do that for the next stream. Do a teardown and see what the deal is. Kieran Wood says Magic Mike. I would be far from magic. I'll be tragic Mike, this fitness state I'm in at the moment after Christmas. Way too much food and way too much sticky stickies. Oh, and I should say as well, thank you to all of you that have sent in gifts for us over Christmas. All the fudge, the sweets, chocolates, etc., the booze. Much appreciated. Thank you very much. I have not had a drink so far this Christmas. I am working tomorrow in the shop, so yeah, working on New Year's Eve. That is going to be not great. Hayden says, I saw a pic of Mike passed out asleep on the sofa on Discord. I was passed out asleep, but I wasn't drunk.
Tired.
I was just tired. The kittens are a murder. They are keeping me up, and they are a constant source of stress. And I'm actually managed to get one video done this last week. So this is the first time that really I've been on camera since last Saturday, other than earlier on today when I did another video. So basically all week has been an absolute chaos. It's been good fun though.
So we can do this still.
Scent Hill R says indicate on, coming to, and putting his hand up. Oh right, okay. Another donation as well.
Can I do this or not?
No, I'll do the sound instead. Let's do the sounds, just in case. Oh, I turned the volume down, didn't I? Let's turn the volume up. We'll get some cash money. There we go. In comes the money. Thank you very much, Colin Hilton, for your £20. We should be sending you something rather than you sending us something. Although, actually, well, yeah, I probably shouldn't say it on stream, but between Mike's Unboxing and another well-known PC part manufacturer, we got a little something for Colin for his birthday. Hopefully that'll be something we can do in a live stream coming up at some point. Skystalker, you have probably addressed this already, Kath. Are you guys keeping the kittens?
I haven't addressed it.
It's not been addressed yet. It's still very much a work in progress. Well, yeah, I don't know. It's it's a tough call. I like kittens. I like the cats. Hell, we've even had what appears to be a stray cat coming into our garden this last few days, and I find myself having a very kind of soft spot for it. Although I think taking on yet another cat to make it 7 would be somewhat mental. I am going to have to get myself checked out for mesomatosis or whatever it is they get, or whatever disease you get from cats, because I find myself liking cats more so than I think is natural for me. So I might have to get myself a checkup from the neck up, see what's going on. Oh dear. They're good. They're good. I honestly, if it was down to me, it was one of those kind of decisions where I could just turn around and say, right, get rid of all the cats in one go and just not have a cat, I think I probably would. But when you've got one, it's like, well, you've got to look after it. So then if you've got more than one, it's like, well, it's just harder. It's still the same thing. So maybe I am getting a crazy cat man, yes. Senthil waiting, I will go back. Senthil, I'm not sure what it is you're asking now. I can see your hand up. Maybe you asked a question earlier on.
Right out there, Flame. Not too bad.
Alessa says, remember, cats are aliens who watch us for weakness and they report back to the mothership. I know. Yeah, I did watch that video also. I know what you mean.
You so can.
Andy says, what you need is a catnap mic. Hi, Kev, in the chat. Wolfman says, do you let your cats roam outside? Yeah. Yeah, they've got pretty much free reign. Well, the eldest cats do. So Maisie, Poppy, and Flame, they've got pretty much free runs if they want to go out. And
we're in a quiet
road.
And
We are in a quiet road, to be fair, and we've got a nice long garden, and there's a back lane that runs down the whole street, so there's plenty of place for them. And there's a lot of cats in this road as well.
And the two eldest don't really leave the garden much now, do they?
They don't. No. So, there we are. Kev says, if you had a £600 budget for a full system, how much would you set aside for the GPU? Personally, for me, I probably wouldn't set aside very much because I am not someone... I enjoy PC gaming, don't get me wrong, but I also enjoy other things, or I find more benefit in certain other things. So I'd probably spend more money on nice quiet fans, a nice case for airflow, probably a faster drive, a nicer motherboard, those kinds of things. So I wouldn't skimp on anything else in order to buy myself a better GPU. The GPU is one of those things as well that, because they're changing so rapidly, it's one of those things where it's easy to take a graphics card and swap it out. And generally, the used graphics card market is pretty healthy. So you can buy a graphics card for kind of £250, £300. If you come to sell it maybe 6 months, a year later, you'll probably get a very similar amount back for it, depending on what happens to the economy. But it's one of those things that then if you find yourself with more money, you could trade in your graphics card and then up it a bit if you need to. But I think unless you are deliberately playing on maybe a 4K screen and you want to play at 4K, which these days gaming in 4K isn't what gaming in 4K was 2-3 years ago, because we've got the things like the DLSS, we've got the FSR, you've got the XESS, all those kinds of technologies. You've got other games have got like their own scaling built in as well. So even if you have a 4K screen or a 1440p monitor, you don't actually have to play at 1440p. You can scale it. So even a lower tier graphics card would do absolutely fine as long as you temper your expectations, which is something which I do a lot of these days. And I was looking yesterday on Amazon, eBay, UK Hot Deals, all those kinds of things in the UK. And I was looking for a graphics card around the sort of £300 to £400 mark. And it's a really tough market out there at the moment. There's nothing out there which says to me, this is something that I definitely need to get, or this would be a significant upgrade over what I got. Buffering.
Matthew Dayan, Skystalker Stat, Flame,
Okay.
don't type in the chat.
Don't seem to have dropped any frames here, so it must be our internet connection. Sorry about that. Skystalker says, I'm hoping that the new APUs coming out from AMD, that many users can play most games reasonably without a discrete graphics card. Cheers, Sentel. I'm not sure if you had a question. If you did, I didn't see it. Actually, let me see what is on there. Error. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. As such, viewers will experience buffering. Okay.
Right, says mild stutter, nothing of concern. Bob says it's back now.
I think it must be our internet connection. Just looking at the top there. Hey, Maisie. No, can't see anything going on there.
On my desk today, baby. Don't get in this box. It's okay.
I think we're okay. I will monitor it and see what's going on.
Build a PC up
Mild
today.
stutter, nothing of concern. All good now. Okay. Awesome stuff. Too many watching YouTube and boiling their kettles. Exactly. Excellent. Other things we've got for this build, which are just little things which might help along the line. Because we've got a little bit of RGB going on here, the case that we're going to use, the Series 300, doesn't actually have any kind of built-in hub. So we're actually going to use this. This is very cute. This is the ROG It's not really ROG, it's just they blagged it. Republica Gamers, this is their addressable RGB hub or distribution block. So you put a SATA port into there to give it power. It then distributes the signal to multiple RGB devices, and you can plug the other end into your motherboard and take control as you would do normally. That I think is going to be quite beneficial on here because we're going to be having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's about 6 addressable RGB things in here, which is probably a little bit much for the ports. We may or may not need this. We'll see how things go, but one of these is always handy to have knocking around if you've got one. Nothing worse than trying to do a build and not being able to complete it because there is something that just won't plug in or is doing weird stuff if you've got all the LEDs on white. Ordinary Dude says, I'm hoping the new APUs will have a good encoder that can be used by NLE softwares like Intel QuickSync. I think that would be pretty nice. It's going to be interesting to see what happens actually with the new APUs. My concern is because the new APUs, and this is completely off topic for the video, but I want to address this because I thought about this earlier today, and it's actually a very concerning thing. So if you're using DDR5, which some of you will be doing already, if you're on an AMD system, you'll know already that to get the best out of your DDR5, you really need to run it at 1-to-1 with the Infinity Fabric. You don't have to, but there is a kind of sweet spot for performance, which is around about the 5600 to 6000 megatransfers per second, running kind of 2-to-1. No, hang on. Yeah, basically running at 2000 megahertz on the controller. I think that's right. Yeah, so it's divided by 3. Anyway, most of you know what I'm talking about. So somewhere between 1800 and 2000 is pretty much the sweet spot. If you get to 2100, maybe 2200, that's also pretty good, but it's very rare. DDR5 is pretty horrible on the AM5 platform. So this leads me to thinking about the new onboard graphics. So traditionally, if we take what we've learned from previous experience, the onboard graphics uses your system memory, which it would have to. Are we going to be having the same thing? So traditionally with AM4 systems, if you have something like a 5700G, 3400G, the faster you could get your DDR4 RAM to run, the better the graphics were, because it's using your RAM on the system as graphics RAM. That is where the problem lies with AM5, because the memory controller generally sucks. You're going to struggle to get the memory speed at a high enough number. Whereas with Intel, you can run it kind of 6400, 7200, 6800 all day long, and it's absolutely fine. But AMD doesn't. So that is where I think the problem may lie. So even if the onboard graphics is really good and really strong, if it doesn't have the memory bandwidth to back it up, it's going to be a little bit of a damp squib, I'm afraid.
I love that word. But
we'll see. So that is where I'm at with that. Let me know what you think about that in the comments. It's yeah, it's something to definitely keep in mind. Depending how quickly they launch, and if MSI and all the others manage to pull their fingers out their butts and actually get the memory controllers to basically do what they potentially can do. Yes, Kath?
Lord Morse Gaming. Where did you get that hub?
That hub was on eBay. Not eBay, it was on Amazon. We actually did a video on it. So if you go to our channel and just type in ROG Hub or ASUS Hub, you should find it in there. Or just type in ARGB Hub, it'll be one of them in there. I think you can pick these up for about £5-6 from AliExpress. Or if you want it quicker, Amazon, you get it for like £7 to £9, depending when it is. It doesn't have... The actual company that made this one is called Multibow. So it's the Multibow 5-volt 3-pin RGB. I think that's supposed to say splitter, but they cut off most of that. But Multibow is the brand that I bought. There you go. Logan says, my 7700X has no problems running at 6000 mega transfers. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like 6000 is kind of like the upper point. Very few people manage to get AM5 running successfully at much higher than 6000 mega transfers. Whereas Intel, like I said, 7200 and above isn't that unexpected. So the memory controller for AM5 is struggling. And also, if you put more RAM in, because you want to use integrated graphics and share a larger portion of RAM, adding more sticks to the AM5 platform really hampers the frequency, and chances are you can almost get down to like borderline DDR4 speeds. So yeah, there you go. So I think that is it. Lars says, my computer, Intel i5 13500, good choice. Asus TUF B760, Wi-Fi, DDR4, very similar to what we've got running here. 2x16 gig Corsair RGB, very nice. Asus TUF 360 LT water cooler, 1 terabyte Corsair, and a Sound Blaster AE5 Plus, and a 650 watt Asus ROG PSU. That's a nice little system. Let's see if there's any other chat. Letter says, got a Thermaltake CTE C750 Air E80X full tower case yesterday. Still haven't opened the box because my workbench already has 2 PCs on it that I'm building. It's a big box, isn't it? The actual shipping box that case comes in is huge. It's almost the same size as this desk. It's a massive case, it really is. Oh, Lars says, and a GTX 1650. Very much an Asus build there. Right, we should get on and start building this thing up, and I'm not too sure where we should start. Should we start with the motherboard? Let's get the motherboard done and get all that stuff done. Then we can put that to one side, get rid of the boxes, and then we can get on and get the case out and get that prepped. Get the water cooler installed. I might have to give this a clean actually from the last time I used it. I had well, I wouldn't say funny, because at the time it was a bit pissing me off. But I sold a PC very recently, and it was the AM5 system, the MSI one, the B650 with the 7500F, and so there was somebody coming to buy it, and I was getting everything ready, and I realised at the time that I'd put a CPU cooler in there, which I'd used previously. Now, we live in a house where there are vapors, smokers, cats, and also a wood burner. So basically, yeah, there can be traces of all of those things on components if they're not cleaned. Now, stupidly, in my rush to get things done, I failed to clean up the CPU cooler, which had been used in a PC for quite a while, to be fair. And it was a twin fan one, and it was quite hard to take apart. So being late and rushing and all that kind of stuff, it's like, right, there's the PC, it's all working, blah, blah, happy days, yeah, happy. Money changed hands, take it away. And then I find out after, it's like, I'm a little bit upset because there's a very, very faint whiff of cigarette smoke coming from the PC. And it's like, oh, shit. Immediately I knew it was from the CPU cooler. So I said, well, I'm really sorry. I've rushed around, I should have done due diligence on this. I didn't clean the fans and the CPU cooler. So yes, it's been an environment where there are pets, smokers, wood burner, etc. So yes, my apologies. And it was one of those things that I sold the PC about £150 less than what it was worth, if not more. And I kind of, it didn't piss me off. Well, it did piss me off. It just bemused me, I think is probably the best way of saying it. That it was one of those things that you try your best to do a good turn for someone and help them out. And then something as petty as that is like, I don't know. But I totally understand if you go and buy something, it is one of those considerations that if you are selling things, I suppose the word to the wise on this would be, if you are selling things on the used market and you have the potential that there is pet dust, pet smells, vapor dust, smokers, tobacco, fireplace smells, all that kind of stuff, then it's probably a good idea to actually state it in the product listing and say, this comes from a house that contains XYZ, therefore there may be traces of XYZ.
But at the end of the day, it's second hand.
Yeah.
They're not paying new prices, are they?
I know. Right, so here's a motherboard. Let's go to the overhead. Hopefully that is somewhat in focus. There we go. Oh, lots in focus. Actually, a little bit too far out, so let's zoom in a little bit. So this is the MSI B760 Tomahawk Wi-Fi. This is actually a lovely board, it really is. Loads of USBs on there, nice fast 2.5 gig LAN. Also got your Wi-Fi 6E. Or is it Wi-Fi 6? I think it's Wi-Fi 6 on this actually. I may have overstated that somewhat. Really nice onboard audio. Just a decent all-round board, to be fair. I like it a lot. There's a little bit of dust in there, so probably some tobacco dust.
Kingston Goodwin, hello, I'm a big fan. I have that same ARC A770 16 gig and it's awesome.
Hey Kingston, thanks for joining us, and thanks for saying you're a big fan. That is very kind of you. So we're going to start off first of all and get the M.2 drive in, because something which MSI didn't do particularly well on this board, I feel personally, is the M.2 retention modules, or the heat sinks. The screws on them are a little bit on the iffy side. They're not the best. So let's get that done. Get it out of the way. If I can get this drive open. I was thinking I've actually used this drive before, but clearly I haven't, because it is still got a sticky on it. I would have thought I'd have used this already, but maybe I haven't. No, it appears to be brand spanking new, so that's happy days. Kev likes the board. Jason Wood says, do you smoke, Mike? Do you smoke the reefer? I have been known to smoke. I wouldn't say I'm a smoker as such, but I have been known to smoke. David says, Stuart Cleary, when did Ireland ban smoking? Australia banned it in 2006.
That's indoors.
Indoor smoking, is that?
Indoors must have been about it.
Jan says, in the Netherlands, all vape flavours are banned from the 1st of the 1st, 24. Yeah, I heard that. There's about 70 countries which are banning flavoured vapes, or vapes which may attract children. Which, I think probably, looking at some of the stuff... Actually, no, I'm not going to say anything about vaping or smoking or anything, because last week's stream already got basically demonetized, and they got upset because I said something. Because I said something about a certain type of food product that I enjoyed eating. I should know better, really. But YouTube doesn't have a sense of humour about... Well, not even a sense of humour. It doesn't even have a bone in its body, which would be, well, human. So yeah, last week's stream was demonetized, or partially demonetized. There's our RAM in, so that's our GSkill Trident Z Neo. Nice RAM, that. Very nice RAM.
Withers. I don't know if you should read it out loud.
Jason Wood says, lucky Kath if you smoke sometimes. He doesn't. Chirizo says he doesn't smoke, he tokes. Those days, unfortunately, are long gone. I did actually enjoy partaking in some of the greener aspects.
One more year and a decade.
That was a very long time ago, and I don't think the modern stuff is really that nice. I preferred it in the old days, where it wasn't quite so kind of psychedelic. Give the old CPU a little bit of a clean before we drop it in. Now with these LGAs,
yeah, YouTube has no sense of humour or sense in most cases.
Yeah, there's gonna be a bright light, so be warned. Bright light, so it's gonna make sure none of the pins are at all bent. It does look like, I know, there's a bit of dust. There's a tiny little bit of dust on there then. So you want to try and get rid of anything that is possibly going to interfere with the pads. Now they're not as delicate as some people would make out. And once you've got it in there, just give it a very slight little wiggle, just to make sure that it's in nicely. I'm going to pop that bit down. And what I like to do, actually, let me put my being this is supposed to be attached to my head, I could actually put it on my head. That'd make a lot of sense. So I'm going to wiggle that about, and what I do is kind of do this a few times just to get it into the right place, and then lock it down finally, and then we can remove that bit, and then we can maybe put some thermal paste on there. There's a little bit of thermal paste residue on there already, but I think we'll do the majority of that actually in the case, because I'm still umming and ahhing whether or not to just go with the stock cooler on this, but I think because of the value of the PC overall, I think a stock cooler would probably be something which would put people off, and also it's considerably noisier. William Bodie's in the house. How you doing, William Bodie?
He's been there for hours. Keep saying that.
Skystar says, what did Mike get into trouble? Oh, it was the stream from last week when I was talking about meat-based products. And there's a super chat come in from David Aiken. He said, bloody hell, nobody told me it was Saturday. Now I'm going to put the light on, the super chat light, because that shouldn't be too disruptive to anybody if they have any kind of sensitivities. I can't reach the light bulb.
You said we weren't doing it.
Sorry.
I would have done it.
So there we go. That's not going to be too trippy for anyone, is it? It shouldn't be.
I think your lamp is more trippy.
Yeah, I think it might be. My lamp's a bit... Woo! Right, let's turn that off. David Underhill says it's Sunday.
Tomorrowland.
There we go. Thank you very much. And thank you, Dave. Alessa says, Saturday? I thought it was December. It is kind of. Lara says it's okay, Mike. Cool. Happy days. Right. Something else I'm going to do. I'm not too sure what settings I left this system in previously. So while we've still got access to the BIOS battery, I'm going to take that out. And also I'm going to find the JBAT one, which is down here. Just going to short that out for about 10 seconds, just so we can clear any settings that may remain on the motherboard, which may potentially result in the system not booting. So there we go, that's fine. So now we can stick the BIOS battery back in, and the BIOS should be reset. Actually, common thing here, which a lot of people ask, is a lot of people say to me, Mike, if I reset the CMOS, does that reset my BIOS back to the BIOS that it had when it left the factory? And no, it doesn't. What it does is the BIOS is made up of two kind of key components. You've got the actual firmware itself, which gets updated whenever you perform BIOS updates, but then you've got your CMOS and BIOS settings. So things like your real-time clock, things like your XMP profile for your RAM, maybe your fan profiles, maybe your overclocks or undervolts, all those kinds of things, maybe your CSM versus UEFI settings, all those kinds of things that you can configure in the BIOS when you get your motherboard for the first time or after you do a BIOS update. Those get reset if you remove the battery and discharge the CMOS. The actual firmware or the BIOS revision, so if maybe you buy this board and it comes with version 1.1, you then flash it to version 1.4. If you reset the CMOS, it will still be on version 1.4. It's just the settings that you've manually entered since you did the BIOS update, those will be reset to the factory defaults for version 1.4. It won't go back to 1.3 or 1.2 or 1.1 or the original BIOS. It will stay, the firmware itself stays intact. It's just the settings that are replaced. So just to clear that up, if anybody's wondering, I guess if it does make sense that it could potentially do that in theory, but that isn't the case. So yeah, you don't have to worry too much about that. Now, do I do the CPU cooler side of things yet? Or do I do it after? I've got a feeling I've got to do it now because of the way that the CPU cooler attaches to the back. So let's grab our CPU cooler from the box a minute and we'll take a little look at that. So this is the Silentium PC. Now Silentium PC technically don't exist anymore. Silentium PC changed their name to some other brand. I think they're actually a Polish company. And yeah, for some reason they decided that they wanted to rebrand and they changed all their names. So yeah, technically this does not exist anymore. So in terms of a product to kind of demonstrate or to compare with, it's probably not really much use for that. So I think it's going to be much better use actually in this particular setup. Yes, Kath? Nighthawks. You've been struck in the night. Nighthawks. Okay, so I'm needing some help. I want to upgrade from AM4 to AM5, but it's a full white build in the 0111 Vision case, but I can't find a full white motherboard. I think the closest one is probably the Gigabyte Vision. I think. I'm not entirely sure. To be honest with you, things like that, when it comes to being completely all one colour, I generally don't really pay a huge amount of attention to it. But I'm pretty sure I've seen a board which is all white. I would say if it comes down to the point of you wanting a completely white build, but the options are limited, if you're spending a serious amount of money on your system, I would seriously reconsider your strategy, because AM5 boards, as a lot of us will verify and validate, they can be a proverbial pain in the ass to get them stable. So I think Dave Aitken, if he's still in the chat, will probably agree 100% with where I'm coming from on that, because they can be very problematic. Yeah, Discord's probably a good idea to have a look for that. I am definitely going to have to clean this up a bit, I think, which is unfortunate. Yeah, most whiteboards have a black or grey with other kind of different bits and pieces, like a bit of silver or black or highlight. I would imagine probably Asus might do one as well. One of the ROG Strix Dash A boards, I think, possibly has a white version. Oh my goodness, that is absolutely filthy. I think I know why I put this back in the box previously and just didn't bother touching it, because it is an absolute mess. Are the cats in here?
3 of them.
Because I'm going to have to vacuum this, I think.
Babies are right there.
This is properly filthy.
Get that vacuum out, you're going to have 3 6-week cats.
Oh no. Yeah, this is absolutely filthy. This is when I was doing the laminate flooring in the hallway, and it's basically full of laminate flooring dust. It's that really fine powdery MDF type dust. So I am almost 100% gonna I'm gonna regret this, aren't I?
You're going to regret it. Oh, there's one done, isn't there? The baby James comes up in a taxi.
Sorry, headphone users.
That's seriously in my PC.
It is.
We do that at home. I have to use my PC for the streaming, but that's another video to make. How dirty is my PC in 2024?
Yeah. Okay, that's a bit better. You can actually see through it now.
Don't think they disturbed at all.
Right, I'm gonna blow that outside, I think, because that is awful. Right, I'll do it out the front door. Oh, they didn't even move, I don't think. Did you hear that? Oh God. I got it on.
So they could hear it.
Yeah, hopefully they could hear that. That was me stood at the front of my house like an idiot, blowing dust from my radiator. Matthew says, don't you have a blower thingy? I do, but I don't like to use it indoors because it basically just makes all that dust go into another PC. And it's absolutely pissing down out there. So yeah, we're definitely not going to be doing that today.
And kittens are rather like babies once they're asleep. We try not to wake them.
Yeah.
Especially when you're doing a live stream.
Exactly. So I'm going to need some IPA spray, I think, just to get some of that off. It's actually got the majority of it off, so I think we're good. I think we're good to go. It actually looks like new. Okay. Caressing my pipes. What was that noise then?
It's because you caressed the pipes a little too much.
Oh, that's right. It was that. I thought I heard all the water come out, but it wasn't. It was the protective tab on the bottom there was rubbing on my jeans. Right, so that is done. Or at least as done as it's going to be. Actually, that looks a million times better. These fans look horrendous. I don't even know where to start with this.
Stuart says that vacuum would be in the bin if I owned it. We do desperately need a new vacuum.
Oh dear. Sorry, headphone users, again. Cheers, Jason. Happy New Year. Okay. Let's see if I can get a toothbrush on it. Oh man,
Toothbrush,
that's
what you
grim.
clean your teeth with.
Yeah. That's why I got such a big smile. These could probably do with washing, to be honest, under the tap.
It doesn't suck.
It's not particularly powerful. The nozzle on it isn't really good for doing this sort of stuff. Someone sent me years ago, I think, one of those adapters that goes on the end of your vacuum. It's got loads of little, tiny little micro bristles on there. And it didn't have the right attachment for our particular device, which was a bit of a shame.
It does get a tank in that vacuum, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, the vacuum is like, considering that vacuum is only a battery powered one, and we have, well, now 6 cats, plus 2 children, plus multiple PCs, and we live in Bristol, which is a notoriously dirty air environment. It's done a pretty good job. I've had it a couple of years now as well. Actually, I should say, hats off to Tinico, actually. They're the ones who sent it to us years ago. I wasn't really keen on using any of their stuff. I was like, well, I like my Dysons and all that kind of stuff, but credit where credit's due, they've done pretty well. Yeah, in fact, I've got the Dyson. I've got 2 Dysons, one upstairs, which we don't really use. Hey Antonio, how you doing? Nice to see you in the chat. And nice to see all of you as well. That says vacuum noise doesn't bother me. I'm running my sound through my bass compressor, and that keeps the volume the same at all times.
21, mine.
21/21. Did you know that tomorrow is a very weird date? It's going to be 31, 1, 2.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, basically.
You're funny. You were really trying to concentrate.
I was really thinking about that, yeah. There's some numbers I struggle with.
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3 being most of them.
Instant karma.
David Dundreal says, I just ordered some bits from China and the seller said it was available as click and collect. What the hell? I live thousands of kilometres from China. China? Can't even speak. There we go, that's much better. And they smell of alcohol, I think. So, yeah, comparatively. So yeah, that is very much a night and day difference. So I can go back on shortly. So we'll just get this one done. Sorry, this shouldn't take as long, but as per usual, I failed to prepare. And you know what they say? Failing to prepare is preparing to fail. I said that to someone the other day. Who do I say that to? They just looked at me as if to say, I hate you, Mike.
Not surprised.
Oh, it was Luke.
I knew it'd be Luke.
It would be, wouldn't it? Yeah, I work with someone called Luke who shares the same surname as me. So we're both Churchills. So it's quite funny actually when you get a delivery come in and they say, oh, name please, and we both say at the same time, Churchill. They're like, oh, this is going
You know you need a nozzle for that.
Ironically, I've actually bought nozzles for that.
They're right behind you.
They are right behind me.
You're so lazy.
Literally. There. That's right, that's enough. That's all I need. That's good. That'd be enough.
Rather than put yourself...
Joe Barnes says, Molly hates our Dyson Hoover. Dives under covers upstairs, poor thing. Oh. Our cat's actually... Dave chases after this. He loves it. He sees it as a game. It's not the easiest of things to do. Is this ASMR? It could be. It's whatever you want it to be. She's done a pretty good job. So,
It says ASMR. Did I need to say that right?
good as new. Ty Cobb says, what are you spraying? That is IPA. Not the drinkable type. It was this stuff. Actually, I suppose I should put the lid back on. Isopropyl alcohol. This is 99.9% minimum. This is the good stuff. Gifted to us from young Mr. Aitken. Yeah, this is good shit. Antonio. I know this is an Intel build, but I'm wondering if there is a €100 price gap between the B650 and the Z. Is it worth investing in? Right, okay. If you're looking at an AMD system and you're looking at the difference between the various motherboards that are available, if you're just a pure and simple gamer and you have very, very limited use for anything outside of gaming really, then the E-Class, the B650E or Extreme boards, the X 670, probably there isn't a great deal of benefit in spending that extra money at the moment, because essentially all it's going to do is just give you more PCI Express lanes, which chances are, if you're just buying a graphics card and some storage, you might not need them. It's a lot of money to pay for extra PCI Express lanes, which is essentially what it is. You get some more USBs, you might get faster USBs, so you might get some USB 2x2s, that sort of thing. Maybe a Thunderbolt port, maybe some faster Wi-Fi, that sort of stuff. Realistically, it's probably not going to make a huge amount of difference to you. So I would probably, if you're a gamer, I would probably spend the extra money on the next tier graphics card, which is going to see a more tangible benefit speed-wise than what you're going to get from just a better motherboard. Although saying that, some motherboards will have a better VRM, so you might get more performance out of your CPU. Headphone users warning.
Did all the dust inside come off now?
Yeah. There's a lot of dust. Right, I feel we're ready to proceed now. So, I need to think now about the location of the pump and where this is going to sit in the case. So it's going to be similar to this. So I'm thinking somewhere like that is going to be a nice bend. So I want the fans to have the cables at the back there. So we'll put these back on, get those back in place, and then we can get the case out and start getting ready for that.
And you've got Poppy Dora asleep on that.
Oh yeah.
What's your go-to B550 board?
My go-to B550 board, I would say, cheers Lars. I would say probably my go-to B550 board is probably the MSI Gaming Plus. If you don't need a great deal, you're not particularly interested in like loads and loads of features, you just want a decent, reliable board, then I think the B550 Gaming Plus is a decent one. It depends if you need all the Wi-Fi and all that kind of stuff as well. Although saying that, I can't even remember if it comes with Wi-Fi or not now. Maybe it does. It's been a while now, my memory is a little clouded. Dave Underhill says the MSI Pro VDH Wi-Fi or the Tomahawk. Yeah, if you're looking for a micro ATX, the Pro VDH Wi-Fi, it's quite hard to go wrong with that, to be honest with you. Although there were a few horror stories when it first came out with the chips dying on them. Basically the chipset just completely failing. Ordinary Dude says the B550 Steel Legend. See, the B550 Steel Legend in the UK was really, really hard to come by. Like, it was hardly ever on the shelves, and if it was a lot dearer than anything else on the market. Whereas Ordinary Dude, I think, is in America, I think. So, yeah. Nick Barnes, question, Mike, does that depend on if you need USB 3 working on Gaming Plus? Lol. Possibly. Now the Gaming Plus should have a decent USB 3. Stuart says in America tomorrow it'll be 123 123. Dutch Jan says the B550 Tomahawk or Gaming Edge. Gaming Edge is a nice board. I've had pretty much most of those. I've had the Gaming Plus, the Tomahawk, and the Gaming Edge, and it kind of works in that. So Gaming Edge is the first one. You've got the B550 Pro-A, which is the kind of the bottom end one. Then you've got the Gaming Plus, then the Tomahawk, then the Gaming Edge, and then you've got the Carbon.
Ordinary Dudes US.
Ah, yeah. Right. Dave Inner says I'm doing that video where I replaced the USB 3.0 mobile header in the new year. I've ordered the connectors. I've ordered the connectors and I've actually got a board down there which I needed to do it to, but I think I wrecked the board getting the old one off. So, yeah. When it comes to soldering, I am genuinely rubbish. It's actually very easy for me to say that because it is absolutely true. Right, there is our CPU cooler done-ish.
We're both about as rubbish as each other. Yeah. I think I'm a little bit more rubbishier than you. I think
I'd be alright if my eyesight was better.
Yeah, but we did that when you were in your 20s.
Yeah, true.
To be honest. No, you were in your 30s.
Probably, yeah. Right, I'm going to have a look at the instructions here because I have not done this in a long time.
Did you get any feedback on the damaged board?
No, I didn't. No feedback whatsoever. Well, I kind of did. I think someone in the chat said they would have a look at it, but after some further conversation, it's basically like, nah. Yeah. Right. Where are we? AMD. No, we are Intel. Intel LGA 1700. So always check what the board says or the box says. This has got a slightly bizarre backplate. So what we need to do is to put that on the back there. That should match up with the screws that are there, I believe. So that's that way round. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that matches up nice. So screws. Screw you. Which screws is it? A long time. D. So should be 4 of those. That's that one, that one, that one, and that one.
Until they don't fit and then you realise you've got the wrong ones.
Yeah. I want that one.
Mix up of them all.
Actually, LGA 1700. Actually, I've installed this before, so I don't know why I'm even using this. I've never used those. Right. Bear with. I'm sure that's the right way round. Yep, that lines up with that. I'm pretty sure it's those. Or is that on my AMD system? Actually, there's one way of finding out for sure because that... yeah, that thread's on there.
Sorry. Do you need another cup of tea?
I need something, I think. I've actually done a video on this, I'm sure. Go to 1. Right, go to 1, okay. So C is this. No, it's the plastic ones. I actually had this in the system, I should know this. Right, so PCB side there. It's not as easy as it looks sometimes. Oh, and I'll put it in upside down again. I think I vaguely remember saying in the review that this wasn't necessarily the nicest setup for actually installation. Dave says I have 30 plus years experience of board repair and it will be a challenge for me, so don't feel too bad, Mike. I have a 20% usage of my left hand due to paralysis. Go on, say it, I can't do it. Paralysis, thank you.
I hate those words that you can say it in your head, but it comes out so different.
It's like, say what you see.
You usually do it for me, don't you? I'm usually the worst.
Right, there we go. That is that done. I don't like the fact that it comes with this little spanner to tighten things up, so I'm just going to give it like a half turn on each one, or just a little cinch. I don't think that's going anywhere anytime soon. And actually, it looks like there is still a gap there. Cheers, Bob. He says, lol, cooler.
Oh, that's because somebody else said that first. Rick, I think.
Right, that'll do.
Yeah, Rick said A-I-O, cooler.
Cooler.
Paris, cooler.
Right. Have I got the rest of the screws here? It looks like there's a screw missing. That would be a catastrophe. Ah, there it is. So we should have 4 springs, 4 spring Dirk Technic, and 4 top screws. Excellent stuff. And hopefully I shouldn't have too many bits and pieces left over after this. So I've got the screws there. Oh, actually. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that is to actually mount the radiator into the case. So we're going to need those. Don't need those because that is for the 2011's setup. Don't need that anymore. Not going to use their thermal compound. I possibly will use that extension, and that is an RGB controller, little standalone RGB controller, which I don't think I'm going to be using that either. Will I need that? Yeah. I'll keep that out just in case. The rest of this can all go away so we can clear some room. Happy days. It's been a long time since I've done an Intel build properly. Well, arguably ever. Kath got into that quick. Thanks, Kath. You've got a screw missing.
Yeah, that's what you said.
I got a screw loose. Right, so that is that. I don't need that anymore. I can go over there. Time to get the case out, I think. Well, I'm going to start putting some of this back into their respective boxes just to make a bit of room. Keep your desk tidy, because you never know. You might get run over by a bus.
Or kittens may wake up.
Yeah, or the kittens might wake up.
Which is worse.
Ordinary Deuce says, don't feel bad, Mike. I'm a can short of a 6-pack. I'm a Mars bar short of a sweet shop. I've said that many, many times over the years. And it's always been true. Oh, this is the Acronis version.
There you go.
What's that?
Quickly blowing that radiator.
Don't tell me. Bob?
Yeah.
Bob's a whiz with the old... Ugly Bob says, I'm a fudge short of a selection box. Oh, there you go. We have clotted cream fudge. Andy Archer says, just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not there. That's very true. Oh, I really want to get this done and dusted and finished.
I think Lars is gone now, hasn't he? So I can do the...
Oh yeah, Lars is gone, I think. Stuart Cleary says, sorry to distract you, Mike. I mean, in the good old US of A on New Year's Eve, it will be 12, 31, 23. That's what I meant by 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Over and out. I understand. Thank you very much. Thank you for the super chat, Stuart. That is, yeah, that's actually quite cool, isn't it? And it's the only time it will ever happen.
Hold on a minute, mate. I'm going to make a drink.
In history. Because it can never happen again unless the old, the good old boys over at CERN do their magic. There goes the stream money again. Darn it. Right, Poppy, bless your heart. I kind of need to get into that box, really. So, do you want to sit on my chair?
Sounds really, really bad.
It does, doesn't it? Sorry for those wearing headphones. We are currently boiling the kettle.
You can go back on it in a minute.
Actually, what's going on here? This case has never been opened.
You probably sealed it, didn't you?
Yeah, but that's not my tape.
For a minute, Pops. You can go back in it in a minute. Come say hello.
Yeah, I'm a bit confused now where this case has actually come from. Oh well.
Which one is it?
Ceres 300. Ah, I know what it was. I swapped it with Colin.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Because he wanted a white one, didn't he? I understand. It's amazing what you find when you go up into the loft.
Which we're not allowed to put stuff in, apart from my... because it's got to stay empty.
Yeah. Oh God.
There you go, properly. You can go back on now.
There we go. There is the Ceres 500, 300 from Thermaltake. That looks like that is not in right, but it is.
Another cup of tea?
Yeah, please.
Do you want to drink that, or is it all drunk?
I think I will need to drink it. Hang on.
Oh. We're out of lacto porn.
Reflecto porn.
Hide.
Thank you. Glove says that is a gorgeous case. Yeah, the Ceres 300. This is basically the smaller brother, sister, whatever of the 500, which is behind me. Shares a lot of the same features. You've still got the same pull-off front with the full mesh filter. Is always very nice. You've got the 3 installed fans to start with, so you've got 2 of which are the Thermaltake CT140s. So you've got 2 of those up front, so 280. You can put a 360mm rad in here, but again, I just don't want to do that. Ideally, I think this should have come with 3 120s. I think that would have been a better look, but it is what it is, so we don't complain, we just make do, get on. On the side you've got the tempered glass side panel. Difference being with the Ceres 500, you've got the gull wing swing out door, whereas with this you've got the removable panel, which some people may prefer. I'm not really bothered either way. I kind of like the ease of the swing out panel personally, but either way I think it works very nicely. Either way, got a removable panel down the bottom if you want to put the LCD in there. You've got the same stuff for the GPU mounting, so you can mount that either way. The rear fan is only a normal PWM jobby, which would have been nice if it is addressable RGB. Considering the difference in price between the non-RGB and the RGB one, I think it would have been, probably been a good idea to have it as standard. But I like the way that they've done this section at the bottom. I think the black version actually works out really nicely. If at some point they do a revision of the Ceres 500, I would be tempted to get a black one. I think the white is nice, but I'm starting to get a little bit jaded with the whole white case thing. I don't know about you guys, and girls obviously. Get rid of that cable tie. There's our accessories box. But yeah, in terms of kind of the whole look and feel, it's a very similar beast. It's a really nice case. I like it a lot.
Is that right now?
Yeah. I think one of the things that I would like to be a bit taller and maybe be able to have a 360mm rad in the top. I think this is basically specification wise very similar to the Corsair 4000D. I would argue this has probably got better airflow and slightly more flexibility in terms of what you can physically put inside it. But okay, it's down to the individual. What you want to do with it, all that kind of stuff. I'm hoping the radiator is going to fit in there all right. I think it will do. I think it's going to be absolutely fine. Looks like there's enough room there. And all the standoffs are in position already, so we can just go ahead pretty much and put the motherboard in. Another cool feature I like about this as well is the removable side panel here. So if you've got your power supply in there and maybe you're doing some testing, you don't want to take the whole thing out and get to the back, you can open this side and actually gain access to the power plugs and stuff down here. So if you want to just quickly test like a SATA plug or Molex plug, you can do without having to kind of strip down the entire PC. Very, very minimal use case scenario for that, but I like it. Dutch Jan says, I don't like white cases.
Said it was the case he brought down.
Cheers, Carl. Yes. Yeah, we swapped it for the white one for Eva's PC. That was right. Got it. Mike, you need some more sun. Careful, make sure you get into the garden.
I try.
Yeah. Love my white Ceres 300, to be honest, says Nick Barnes. Refreshing change from my F15. David O'Dell says this case is only $129. That's Aussie dollars. So £75.40. I think this retails at the moment for like $79.99. Sometimes you might be able to pick it up on offer somewhere, but I think that's kind of pretty much the price that is expected to be paid. So let's get the overhead camera on, and we will put this down on the deck. We'll start getting everything put inside. Hopefully there's going to be enough light so you can see what's going on. Where's the T? So let's zoom out a wee bit. Let's move my cup of tea out of the way. The calf haphazardly put there.
Shut up, I asked if it was right there.
I know.
I know.
Right, so where is our Mobo? That is over the other side. So let's go and grab that. So this should be very easy to do. Just slot it in. I'm pretty sure there's a location pin in there somewhere. Where's my head torch? I put that heat on for too long. It's quite warm in there, isn't it? Okay.
You turned it off?
No.
Can I do it by pushing that button?
I think so. Right, that looks about right there, I think.
Do you want to get back out, Flame?
Yeah, there isn't actually a location lug in there, which is a shame. There's always something quite reassuring about that. If there's a location lug, it kind of locks the motherboard into position so you know exactly where you are. Got our accessories bag in here. Extension cords for the fans and some cable ties and all that kind of jazz. It's going to be interesting to see what Thermaltake come up with this year, being that this is their 25th year of being in the PC business and doing PC parts as Thermaltake. So
I can't do it, you have to do it.
do what?
Turn it off.
Okay.
Just...
Right, let's see. I'm not too sure what the threads are for the motherboard standoffs. Actually, is there a spare standoff there? Yeah, there is. So I can grab a spare standoff and just test the thread. So no, it's not a coarse thread, so it's going to be a fine thread. And we can double check that. Just get a nice little fine screw.
Hi, Poppy.
And yeah, that goes in there. So we want the little fine screws to go into the case.
Out of focus. You've dealt with that yet?
No, not yet. It probably will go in and out of focus.
Focuses are on your head.
There we go.
Aren't they?
Well, that's the most important bit. It's got bold guy auto detect.
The light on your head is making it not focus.
It should be okay now. I'll turn the light off as soon as we get a screw in here. I think this board actually looks really nice in there, colour wise. I actually really missed doing a white build. Sorry, a darker build. Harry Wolfman says, I bet nobody misses the green and orange motherboards. Oh god, yeah. What were Gigabyte thinking of back in the early 2000s? So what I do with these motherboard standoffs is I put them in so they're almost all the way in. If they go all the way in, I just reduce them back 1 turn or half a turn until I've got all of them in, and then I'll go around and make sure that the board is all nice and level. Why is that not?
Going out? Just going in. Put your feet in there. You go in.
There we go. So make sure we do all 9 screws. This is something we see a lot of the time as well on our Discord, where people are building their PC and they put like maybe 1 or 2 pillars in and don't bother with the rest. Which is a bit naughty, really. You should try and get in all the motherboard standoff pillars. They are there for a reason. And normally, well, support is one thing, but the other thing is for grounding purposes and earthing. Because you don't want to accidentally short circuit your motherboard by allowing it to touch the bottom. So I think that is in all right. We've got all of our screws in, so we can tighten them up fully now. And also don't over tighten these, because if you thread them, it's really annoying rather. We just fed them.
Not long ago, why?
Yeah, it's not food. Alright, so there is the motherboard in position. So now we can do various things. I think it's probably going to be a good idea to look at either the front panel I/O, because that's going to be empty down there, and maybe we can get the power supply installed as well. Let's take a look in the back, because I've not taken the back side off yet. Nice that they've got 3 screws holding this in place. A bit more extra rigidity in that back panel.
We have Davy Jones awake now.
Oh dear. Davy Jones, you've been gone too long.
Shall I move those bottles on the table a bit more?
Why?
Because if he jumps out.
Right, so when it comes to cable management, Thermaltake have done a pretty splendid job here. Actually, I don't even really need to undo that one. This is going to be pretty straightforward stuff. So what we've got our front panel audio. So that's going to go over that way. Got our front I/O, which is going to go in there. The USB 3.0, which is, actually I'm not too sure where it is on this board. And the USB type C, which I think is actually a bit closer to the top. So I might have to take those in through there. And also we've got our wire in here for our addressable RGB. Dave, don't play with those wires.
I didn't see wires.
So that's going to fall on you and break you.
He was playing with the vacuum. I don't think it was anything to do with wires.
No, but the wires are dangling right next to it, aren't they?
Come on then. What's this rain on?
So there is our RGB wiring. That is just the longest wire. That doesn't need to be that long, I'm sure. And there's the one for the fans at the front. Nice bit of depth in the back of here, so no issues when it comes to managing these cables.
It's the ordinary goose birthday this week as well.
Oh, happy birthday. Congrats. Nice to have a birthday. Even better if you're still around to enjoy it. Right, so we've got the USB 3.0, or whatever you want to call it. Let's get that in. I'm going to put my headlamp on because I don't want to bend the pins because these are particularly delicate. Nice. That went in with a rather reassuring click. And we'll do the same with the HD USB, what's it called? Front panel, USB Type-C. That's gone in with a nice click also. And we can poke these back through so they don't make up or take up too much room. That is friggin' awesome. Front panel, actually I could take that through a little bit further into that side. And let's wire that up while we're there. So power LED. Let's do hard drive LED at the bottom first of all. So hard drive LED is the bottom. Can you actually see this? Don't think you can you? You can just about. So there we go. That is the HD audio, plus and minus. Not HD audio. What am I talking about? Bloody fool. It's been a long day. A reset switch goes next to that at the bottom. So pins 3 and 4. Then you've got your power LED plus, which is the first one along the top. So I'm actually going to split these down a little bit further, just so I've got a bit more to work with. Hopefully, actually it will be interesting to see what Thermaltake put out this year in terms of new cases and new peripherals and all that stuff. I'm hoping there's going to be a Series 400 and maybe a Series 200. Just to kind of finish off the range. I think that would be quite a nice thing to have. So there we go, let's get the HD audio connected. Bless. Somebody on the Discord today got their PC, brand new PC, and they're not getting any audio. And I was like, well, what speakers have you got? And they're like, well, I haven't got any. So, well, what monitor have you got? And unfortunately, they've got a monitor which doesn't have any speakers, so they haven't got any audio. I kind of chuckled to myself a little bit. Then I felt really sad and really bad. I got over it. It happens. We've all been there. Gone to do something, plugged it all in, and then realised, there's a key component missing here. So fans, I'm going to plug it in. So I'm going to have system fan 1.
Says, I think he got it backwards, but I don't know if that's you or something else.
What, the wiring for the front panel? Probably. Top row, power LED plus, power LED minus, power switch on off. Bottom row, HD activity plus, then minus, and then the what's it called? Can't think now. Brain's gone. I can't build and think at the same time. What's the matter? Give me a break. All right, let's get those cables out the way. I do love working on these cases, I really do. Thermaltake have had some absolute howling successes. That's probably the wrong word, isn't it? Howling success. They've had some successes this year, I feel, personally, with various designs. The CTE design, I'm still kind of jury's out on that for me. I don't really kind of go with the whole USB ports at the top scenario. Let's go back to the main camera for a bit. So yeah, the whole like having your ports up here and routed down to the bottom.
Turn that light off on your end.
Oh yeah, sorry. I'm not massively keen on that whole setup. I love the case design, and the actual airflow and all that kind of stuff is freaking awesome. If only they'd have left the motherboard in the normal rotation so that all the stuff was out the back still. But then they couldn't because of the ventilation. So I understand the reasoning behind it. I don't know. It certainly has a use case. If you don't plug in keyboards and mice and bits and pieces every other day or two, then it's going to be absolutely fine. You're not going to have any issues whatsoever. But like for me, as soon as I start a stream up, it's like boom, 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 plug in that, plug in that, plug in that. And I'd be forever taking the damn thing apart. So for me, unfortunately, it's something which I can't really get behind at the moment. Although Aletta's picked one up recently, so it's going to be interesting to see how she fares with it.
How did her Hello Kitty build go?
I don't know. She was going to post some pictures. I don't think they ever showed up. Nice thing, you can put the power supply in on this without having to worry about all your cables that are already in there, which is awesome. Have I got some screws in here? Case mounting screws. Should be some in there. More cable ties, more screws.
Who have you got? Oh, bless you. Dust in the air.
Probably come out of that water cooler. This is going to be a nice PC. Right, sorry, I've got to put the light on so I can see the screws at the back. Get it all nicely lined up. There we go. Oh. I thought I had a screw attached then, I didn't. I should really connect up all the cables I need first, but I can struggle that after.
Ordinary Do says Thermaltake needs to make a TG version of the Core V21.
Yeah, they do. The TechWare Quad is very close to that. And if I didn't know any better, I would say that the TechWare Quad is actually based around the same chassis. It certainly seems that way. Whether it is or not, I couldn't say with any certainty, but it does point in that general direction. So I put my EPS cable up through the top there. Get the base. So what we're going to need here, we're going to need, if only there was a graphics card in here which deserved this, but unfortunately there isn't one. So that is our 16-pin high power connection. We are going to need a PCIe for sure. I might put in two, because that card does require two connections, and that way we don't have to daisy chain them. So that's going to be pretty good. And we're going to need some SATA cables for possibly powering the SATA pump, I think, on the CPU cooler.
Is this M80X or M80X?
This is just ATX, regular ATX, but it's a slightly smaller, if that makes any sense. So H power, peripheral SATA, PCIe. There we go. So peripheral SATA goes at the bottom. Actually, I might as well. I think I'll stick a Molex in there as well. Doesn't need it, but if for some reason I find myself installing some Thermaltake fans like the SWA fans, then having that in there handy will be useful, because those controllers do require that. And let's get in our PCIEs. So we've got two of those. One and two. Wow, there's so much room to work in the back there. It's nice. It's very rare that you can actually work in the back of a PC and actually still get your cables in and all that kind of stuff from the power supply after you've already installed it. I meant to do that. I must say, I can't remember who sent the head torch. I got a feeling it might have been
Rick.
Rick H. I'm pretty sure it was Rick H, but I'm not entirely 100%.
Every week.
I know, but I do actually use it almost like daily.
I can vouch that he blinds me almost daily.
Yeah. Right, so there is our power supply installed. We're rocking now. So what do we need? 24-pin power connector. We can pass that through. So that is going to be just about there. So I'm going to pass those wires over that side. And that is going to go up through there. Just get it roughly in position. We can cable manage it after. I really must go through and actually work out how much all of these parts cost. Or how much is worth, I should say, not what it cost. Because what it's worth. There's always that misconception of like people trying to sell a computer and they try and sell it to what it costs. But you don't try and sell it to what it costs, you try and sell it for what it's actually worth. Because that's the way the world works. Well, unless you're Leanne Lee. Or Corsair. Or Thermaltake when it comes to RAM. I'm going to have to call it. Thermaltake RAM is super expensive. It's good gear, but it is super expensive. Right, so you can't see this, but I'm doing the EPS connection. I'm actually going to plug in both.
It was definitely Rick. You need to add your eyes on.
Nice one, Rick. Bless you. Yeah, literally, I use it every day. Well, not every day, but... Stop it, you two, whoever it is. Who's fighting? Let's use it again, eh?
I think it's the kittens and me.
Enhance your calm. Right, how's this slot together? I can never do these properly. Oh, there we go. There you go. Slot that together. It's very rare I actually do that, to plug in both of the EPS cables, but being that they're there and there's so much access to it, it seems kind of crazy not to, really. Bend those back over. A little bit of slack.
Hey, Davy Jones.
Fantastico. I thought I was, what's his name then, from that cooking program on ITV this morning. There's a cooking program in it. Do 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 do. Uh-oh.
Who's annoying you, maids?
Who is it? All the other cats have just hidden. One hiss from the boss, and all the others leg it. In fact, I think one of them may have lost their bowels. Or is it me? Let's have a look in the chat. No discounts, Mike. Your time is valuable. I think it is, personally, but unfortunately, people who buy stuff often don't share that sentiment. And if it was one of those things where... my thing is, when I'm selling stuff, especially on like Facebook Marketplace, it's such a time-consuming thing. It really is time-consuming. It really just pissed me off. And then you get people messing around and what have you, and then they kind of lowball you and stuff. I get to the point where I think, well, the amount of time and effort I'm taking on doing this, I could have just made a video. So then it gets to the point where it's taken me way too much time to actually like move these parts on so I can go ahead and go on to the next group of parts. So I'm always like, right, just take it, get it out of my sight, because I've got work to do. Which I know is probably not the right attitude, but it's kind of, my time is valuable. So in that kind of situation, it actually makes sense to me to sell stuff just cheap, just to get rid of it. Just get it out of my house. And also it's the space constraints as well, because as some of you know, because I've probably harped on about it way too many times, we are struggling for space here. It's a very, very small house and it's kind of getting smaller every day with cats and cases.
I think what they're under the lid of that hamper and they're poking up into Maisie.
And she's freaking. She's freaking. Right, passing through the cables for the GPU, just in case you're wondering what I'm doing. You're probably not, but I'm going to let you know anyway. So now we've got our cables here ready to plug into our GPU. So those are going to be nice and they're going to wrap around. This is going to be a cracking build. I think I've said that once or twice already, but the more I say it, the more I'm actually beginning to believe. I'm like Neo in the Matrix, where I'm starting to gain my powers and the PC is coming together. And I'm definitely starting to feel it. So now we can put in the un radiator. I'm going to put the fan in at the end, at the back here, to exhaust out some air. Potentially though, I might not bother. And the reason behind that is because of, I don't really want it exhausting air and sucking it out the top when it could actually be used for cooling. If that makes sense. So I'm going to take off that top section and find my mounting screws, which I believe are there. And we'll just get this kind of eyeballed, see roughly where we're looking. I'm not sure if you guys can actually see this, you probably can, just about. So do I want to go far forward or central? I think central probably would be better, if I can still gain access to all the screws. Okay, let's do that.
Do you want some foodies?
Yeah.
Good idea.
I wonder if this would fit a 360 actually.
Where's Davey going?
Ordinary Dude says, we just moved my mum in with us recently. She really likes living on the farm down south with us. Lots of animals and no snow.
Oh, that sounds so nice.
That sounds absolutely ideal. I've always wanted to visit the American South. It sounds so nice. But I guess it's like anything. You have to find the right place down south. Otherwise, it's going to suck. Because there's always good and bad areas, isn't there? Right, would this physically fit? Ooh. Now that is interesting. Right, sorry about this, ladies and gentlemen, but I am going to have to try the 360 just to see physically if it would fit, because 100% in the documentation they say the 360 doesn't fit. But if the 360 did fit, that would make this case a very different beast altogether. But it would also make it somewhat of a pain in the ass for some other reasons. But let's see if this physically will even go in. I'm sure I tried this before and it didn't. But it was a while back. Would you Adam and Eve it? Holy shit, that fits. Right. So, a 360 fits, which is awesome. But you won't be able to, yeah, you can't have the rear fan in because it comes down too low and it blocks that fan. But that isn't entirely a bad thing, because you're then going to be able to draw in some air from the back here into the radiator fan. So yes, it's not ideal. Let's try it around this way. So yeah, that physically fits. And it doesn't really impede on anything either. Right. Can we still get a fan in? I'm going to have to try this. Something's catching there somewhere. Right, so it is tight, and there is something on the front of the case which is impeding this very slightly. Right, there we go. The radiator is in there. And well, it's a little bit tight on this end for the cooler, but potentially workable. So that would go in there. So let's try a 120mm fan. I've got a 120mm fan.
Unless you put it on the outside of the case.
Oh yeah, outside of the case I'm not keen on, to be honest. But yeah, it's not a bad idea. But for me, I think in this instance, it's not a goer.
Put the EPS cable in before installing the radiator.
EPS cables are in, yeah, we did that. Yeah, I already did that. I didn't want to get caught out by that, because that is one thing which is going to be really hard to do after the fact. So these are some of the Thermaltake CT140s, which, well, if you were into modifying, you probably could get that to fit. It doesn't look great, and it's not a factory fit by any stretch of the imagination, but potentially that could work. Or you could just leave the back open, which might be suitable. So I wouldn't write it off entirely.
Colin says, don't you sell slimline fans?
You can get slimline fans, although for radiator applications, slimline fans generally tend to be either very expensive or not particularly good, because with static pressure you need to have the swoop of the blade to generate that pressure. I think that's very interesting that it does physically fit. I think a 280 would be ideal in there, but for us, I am going to go with the 240. Potentially after the stream at some point,
Put it on the outside, Mike.
I may revisit. Well, put the fan on the outside.
I don't know. A couple have said put it on the outside, but I'm not sure.
No, I'm not putting anything on the outside, because that takes, like, if it was like a custom build or something, or was doing something a bit strange with it, then I think I might be tempted to. But this is I want this to be quite a classy looking sort of OEM factory look, rather than being kind of bodged together. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with bodging things together. Sometimes that is necessary, but in this instance we've already got another cooler here on hand which will fit and do the job. And again, the CPU in this doesn't really necessitate a huge amount of cooling anyway.
I think Rick said 360 for
Yeah, 360. Like
whatever that Intel thing is.
air cooling on this would be absolutely fine as well. Like even the stock cooler would probably be alright. Right, let's get a couple of screws in there. Yeah, that's a shame. Literally just like an extra inch taller, and it would have been fine. But I suppose it's one of those things that Thermaltake are like, well, if you want to put 360 rads in there and you want the extra room, you buy the Series 500, which is a slightly more expensive version, and it comes with more fans as well. iWolfman says 360 at the front. Yeah, 360 does go at the front. Like I said, the cooler that I wanted to use in it doesn't have addressable RGB fans on the front, so I think it would look a bit dull in terms of its kind of shelf appeal. And to some extent, some of this build is making use of bits that I just don't want anymore or don't need anymore. So it's quite nice to get this cooler in. Like I said, this one is absolutely fine for what we're doing here. It doesn't need much more than this. And to be honest, this is probably overkill.
What was it?
All right, I'm going to pull these cables out the back so we can cable manage that in a minute. So that is our addressable RGB and also the PWM for the first fan. And do the same for the second one. Now, even with the fan, with the radiator in place, and all this other stuff going on, I can still pass through these cables pretty easily. The Series 300 is one of those cases which it continues to amuse me on how flexible it is. Hey, out! Out! Is the other one still behind there, hiding?
Did Davey go behind there?
Yeah, one of them did, yeah.
Yeah, well, no. One, he came out, but I don't know if Davey went in as well.
No, Dave, no, one of those ones.
Yeah, no.
One of the stripies went in. What else do I need to connect up? Right. Need a pack. Poppy, go away, you're breaking panels. So this is the extension lead that connects the two cooling fans from the radiator. So I'm actually going to plug that in now, whilst we've still got a bit more access. And we want this into CPU fan header number 1, which is, I can never tell on this one. They printed it on the silk screen so small. Right, CPU, there we go. Those are a little bit tricky to get to. Again, the benefit of having the Series 500 over the 300, that little bit of extra headroom at this top section. Now we don't have to plug in the, actually yeah we do. So we've got a SATA cable for power, which is a really short ass SATA cable actually. And also we've got a PWM signal for the pump. Although I don't think I actually need to plug in the pump header, because I'm pretty sure from when I did this last time that it doesn't actually give out an RPM other than like full blast. But I'm going to plug it in anyway. I kind of wish I'd have done this earlier now. There we go. Right. So that is going to end up on there. And we've got a nice little swoop with the cables, the wiring. I think that's actually, it's quite nice. If you want to, you can twist this round to there. You can do it whichever way round you want, really. I think actually in this instance that is probably going to be the cleanest looking for the pipes. Cheers, Pete. Is it what you say? Yeah. Cheers, Pete. Give that a bit of a dust in. Blinding myself now. It's getting rather warm in here now. Oh god, there's an absolute mess of wiring behind there. I think I'm going to get the CPU cooler mounted on the front there, get those screws on, and then we can concentrate on what is going on in the back. I'm going to pass that cable through there. Yeah, that cable is a little bit on the short side. Story of my life. Right, thermal paste. I swore I dropped one there. There we go. So we use some good old MX6. And I'm not going to get too involved with this, just going to splat some on there. I'm just going to do a line down through. That is way too much. In fact, I am going to get the spreader now and spread it out. Or is that? Do I need to? Yeah, I should do. I know if I don't do it, I'll regret it and have to take it all apart again. So I'm going to spread it. In fact, I should have used the TF4 actually. I've got some TF4 here as well. Just give that a little spread. Concentration face. Nice bit of even coverage there. Actually, that was pretty much bang on. So let's get that on there. That is in place. And get our screws on. A couple of turns on each one just to hold it in place. Okay, nice, as they say.
Did you remove the label on the bottom?
Yeah.
Definitely?
Yep. It is. Where did I put it?
On the bottom of that cooler.
There it is. You had me there. You crazy kids, you had me there. I was actually believing... Right, let's do this with some reasonably even pressure, actually. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
What are you doing? Date tomorrow?
2, 3, yeah.
Put you off. Is he stuck in that box, Pops?
Yeah, that'll do. Now, I'm not too sure with this SATA cable whether I take it out the side or out the top. I think I'll do it out the top. That's nice and clean looking at. Lovely jubbly.
Pops, I got him.
Looking good.
Poppy.
So get rid of that because that is done up here.
I reckon Davey's going to sleep in your desk.
Dave.
I can't get in there, can I say?
I haven't seen him down here. Right, I think that is it for that side. So I think we need to concentrate on the inside, this back side now. So I'm going to flip this over and we'll stick this onto our overhead camera again and see what we can do with this wiring to make things look a little bit better and try and work out what is going to go where. So that one and that one, those link together because that is for our CPU. And that is, where's the long one for the CPU? I sure I plugged that in. Yeah, there we go. That is, no, that's the RGB. RGB, power. There should be another, there we go. That was the one. So this is for the CPU RPMs. So that and all that can be bunched together. That's all part of the same thing. We've got our power wire, which I'm not overly pleased about really, that power wire. But I guess it'll be fine. And there's a little bit of a hook there, so we can just run those behind there for the 12 volt EPS. I might even put a little cable tie down there somewhere. Just poke those out of the way for now. It's a bit bit messy going on there.
He keeps putting himself underneath that box.
Why?
I don't know. And then Poppy freaks out because she can't see him and he's under, the box is upside down on top of him. But he's putting himself under there.
Just hiding.
Yeah.
So I'll squish down these cables. I'm not doing this particularly neatly, but it's fine. It's fine. It might get reworked yet anyway. The way I do things probably will. So this slot here, I can probably bunch all of that up together. And run that over to the side. Oh. Right, that's that cable tied out of the way. It's looking a bit tidier already. I'll grab a couple of cable ties just to bunch this stuff up together, excluding the SATA, which I'm a little bit annoyed about. And I think I'll take the other RGBs to the bottom. This is probably going to be a work in progress in terms of cable management, I think. I suppose I could take it under there.
Let him out now, he wants to come out.
That'll do.
Come on then, come on. Come out.
Normally I would do this a little bit neater, but I am slightly aware of time is of the essence. And really, you shouldn't ever cable tie stuff in place until you've actually powered on and tested everything to make sure that it all works. But I am kind of taking that somewhat for granted.
One's asleep, one's under that box Poppy's sat on, and baby, I don't know.
Okay. There, so there is our addressable RGB, so I can use the pass-through on that. Connect into there. And pass that back up through there. So I'm pretty sure there is a RGB header there somewhere. Rick H, did you remove the label on the bottom? I certainly hope I did. Where is the other RGB header? Could have swore there was one around here somewhere. Are we focusing yet? No. Kind of. Where is the other RGB header? Come on. RGB. Ah, typical. It's right over that side. Would be, wouldn't it? So let's take that back out of there. And we'll just go back in the other side, which hopefully is just about going to reach. Oh yeah, that's good. Poppy, leave him alone. It's Saturday night and they're having some fun. Someone in this house has got to have fun. There we go, lovely, absolute jubbly. So, there's our RGB and all the wiring done. All the wiring's done in the back pretty much. There's a few loose cables knocking around, but nothing nothing too extreme. It's actually, to be honest with you, that's actually quite tidy. If you look at the back, it's actually pretty clean and pretty tidy. So now we get to do one of the best bits, which is installing the graphics card. But actually, before I do that, I'm going to drink some of my tea and have a quick look at the chat, see what was going on, and see what Dave's doing. Dave! Absolute chaos here in the Mub household. Otis, what are you doing? Oh, thought there was a cat in my box. Stuart says this Bailey's on ice is going down well. Good, good. Mark Berry says those Velcro cable ties are a nice touch. They really are. Yeah, they do make life quite easy. Mark Berry says looks better than my cable management. It's, to be honest with you, like, this is actually quite easy to do because it kind of does it for you. I've not really had to be overly involved with the situation, to be honest. It's all pretty much done itself. Oh, actually, I know what I didn't do. I haven't plugged in the SATA for the pump, have I? That's a rookie mistake. Let me just drag that SATA plug out. Come here, SATA plug. You are required. Oh, that didn't sound good, did it? Right, there's SATA plug in. So that is the beauty again of these Velcro ties. I can just unzip it and we're good to go again. And poke that back in there. Yeah, we're absolutely golden. Actually, let's stick that in there as well. If we're in this back section, might as well do it and do it as it's supposed to be. Right, let's get the graphics card in. Otis, I swear they don't know their names. Like, if you get a new kitten, normally you get one, don't you? Or if you get a new dog, you kind of get one. It's rare that you get two. Sometimes you might, but it's quite rare. So normally, because they're the new thing in the house and you call it by its name, they kind of pick up on it pretty quickly because you're shouting at them or calling them and there's like one name. But because you've got 3 cats, you're calling 3 names. And I don't think any of them know which one to answer to. Where you go, mate? You going on the BM750? Okay. Good choice. Poppy. Poppy does that most of the morning and some of the night. So when I'm actually trying to get to sleep, all I hear is Poppy calling to the kittens like that. And that is really frustrating, especially if it's in the middle of the night, because you really, really don't know why she's doing it. It could be for some sort of emergency purpose. And being a parent, get off of there. Yes, you can stay there. That is acceptable. No, that is not acceptable. Get down. I give up. I think it's time to put the graphics card in. Fling, stop drinking mum's coffee. It's like cat daycare. It really is. So here is our graphics card. We know about this already, so I'm not going to go into too much depth. This is the Asrock A770 Phantom Gaming Edition. I'm going to shut up and just going to put this in the bloody computer.
Who's doing what?
I don't know. They don't answer to their names anymore.
It is. We've got one in here.
There's a bit of dust in here. I think there's one in my desk.
Yeah, but he's asleep, I think, because he's high up.
Okay.
So you've got one.
I've got one. One's enough.
Yeah, look at this.
The reassuring click of satisfaction there. Let's get this bad boy in. I need to remagnetize my screw. Actually, let's do it on the stream. Let's remagnetize because... Oh, where's my remagnetizing bit gone? They bloody had that as well, haven't they? Is it behind? Oh, it's behind here somewhere. Oh, no, it's not. What have they done with that? That's been living here for ages. I give up. Oh, sorry. I just kicked a cat. There's one. Come on.
That's the only one. Go to her sleep.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Now, something else which should be noted here is when you lot at home are doing this, you normally would have it in a position so that you can see how it's going, whereas I'm deliberately trying to put this into position so you can see what I'm doing, and I've still got some fighting chance of actually getting it to fit. And screwing in thumb screws from the back, so to speak, yeah, this isn't easy because I have no idea where it is roughly. There we go. Yeah, that's gone in pretty nicely. So now what we've got to do is give the good old GPU some power. And that should be quite straightforward. One. Hello?
Ugly Bob says, is it in your mug cup? Your magnetic thing.
Oh, no, I think it's a bit big for there. It must be down on the floor somewhere. I'll find it one day. So there is our graphics card installed.
I got a magnet if you want a magnet.
That's
You
right.
need it on a stick, don't you?
So I can push those through, and these will hopefully fall kind of nicely into position just there and not look too ugly, which I think is actually not too bad. What do you reckon? At some point, probably a cable tie around there to hold it in place might be a nice idea.
What do you reckon, Poppy?
But overall, I think that looks quite nice, and there's not too drastic a bend on there. So I'm going to take the liberty now of putting the back panel on, because I'm somewhat confident it's going to work. Okay, what have I done wrong? Oh, it's because I'm sat in a funny position, maybe?
It's going to work, but you can't get the back panel on.
Yeah. Why is that not going on?
Is it the front panel?
Yeah. Oh, I'm trying to put the front panel in the back panel. So I am. Right, that is there, that is there. I don't think there's anything stopping it. Is there anything along there? No. I think it's just maybe...
It is.
I think it's just... Oh, just the angle I was on, I guess. Or is it? That don't look like it's...
No. Good boy.
Right, something is getting squished there. I don't know what, because there isn't actually anything there to get squished.
I'll come say hello.
It did drop just now. But...
Turn around. This way. Hello. Let me grab your front leg. There it is.
What is going on? Right, feels like something's getting stuck there. Oh, I know what it will be. Sorry, my fault. There is a dust filter there, and I think I've put it in the wrong way. Or have I? Right, there's magnets that end, so that must be that way. It doesn't really need one that side because that's where the power supply is, but anyway, hopefully that was all it was. Ah, there we go. Yes, it was me. I was being stupid. Okay, so that I think is done. So let me pack away some of this stuff and then we'll fire it up and make sure it actually works. Of which I have a relatively high, a reasonably high amount of confidence.
Sorry, I didn't actually hear
What?
the drop-in of everything to come and chase.
So overall, what are your thoughts on the Ceres 300? I keep on wanting to say 500. That's getting really annoying saying that. I don't eat the blue roll. It's covered in alcohol. Mind you, it's probably evaporated by now.
Come here.
There is also some other bits and pieces actually in the accessories bag, which I didn't mention. It's probably not that relevant, but some nice ease of use touches. There is a adapter, so if you haven't got a hex wrench for doing the motherboard standoffs, they include a little adapter for that as well, and some spare thumb screws as well. So if you do need to make any modifications or you lose a thumb screw for some reason, then they can be replaced. They come with it. And actually a whole ton of screws, so if you want to put a load of hard drives in here, you can do. It doesn't come with a hard drive mount as such, but you can mount hard drives in there, and there's a caddy on the back as well, so you can put two 2.5 inch drives in there on the caddy. But this case is more tailored towards airflow than it is towards storage. It's normally like a bit of a happy medium, isn't it, between the two in general. One either does one very well or the other. It's very rare that a case will do airflow and storage exceptionally well at the same time. So that goes in there. How are we looking, Otis? Is it good?
Is it good?
The man from Otisia, he says yes.
Yeah, big purrs. No.
Right, let's move that out of the way. Get rid of that. He's got good taste. MX6.
Is he is your keyboard on?
Yeah. Stream's just ended. Otis, get down! Get down!
Otis.
Right, get down. No, down. The opposite of up. Come on, man, give me a break. Come on, man. Here you go, go and sit with your mum. Ah, balls. Didn't put the fan back in. I thought I had some extra screws. Oh dear. Right, luckily there is actually a fan header quite close to where this lives, so I'm going to stick that back in. Oh, actually, while we're in this neck of the woods, we could always stick in our Wi-Fi antenna for our built-in MSI Wi-Fi 6.
Do you want to go out now?
I think it's Wi-Fi 6. Oh dear, that is stuck in there pretty good. Get the old head torch on again. System fan number 5. System number 5. Oh, you absolute... Why would they put a bloody fan header there? Arse. See, the fan header is in a ridiculous place because in order to plug in a fan header, a PWM one, you have to kind of grip it like that. But underneath it is the M.2 drive shield and above it is the heatsink from the VRM. Both of which are kind of necessary. It just makes this really difficult. Could do with some like long nose pliers or something for this. Ah, there we go. I got it. I got it. So where can we take the cable? Can we take it up the side? Oh yeah, that is clean. I'm making it up and lying to myself. System number 5. I knew it was a mistake to put my screwdriver away. This ain't far away. Rick H says, I find it very calming watching Mike do a build. I don't know why that would be. I would have thought most people are stressed right out watching me making a right cluster of it. Although, I think it just feels like a cluster when I'm doing it. Maybe it isn't. I don't know. With the weight on the case, it annoys me that the rubber grips on the case feet always peel off. David also, I love my MSI mobile. It has 2 Ethernet ports, one for router connect, one for NAS connect. That's actually something... Yeah, that's something which I've never really considered doing actually, is having a secondary LAN port dedicated to the NAS. Because the NAS should really be on its own separate subnet. But, yeah, not all of the PCs here have that facility to have multiple LANs. So it would be a bit of a nose to do that, but yeah, it could work. Right, I need to fire this up somehow. So how am I going to do that?
Any ideas, Otis?
What do you think, Oates? Power I can do. That's relatively straightforward. HDMI, that is also relatively straightforward because I have one here. Keyboard and mouse, less straightforward because I don't have one with a built-in mouse here. Actually, I've got my K500, haven't I, in the other room. Right, let's plug in HDMI number 4. There's the beauty of having this capture card, actually, the old Elgato. It's not great for doing fast capturing, but when you've got an absolute ton of things to capture or to get access to, oh, it's very useful. Right. Let's plug that into the HDMI, which is going to be that one there. I'm just hoping and praying that that graphics card is low enough in that socket so that it doesn't do that thing. You know, the thing where you don't get a display because your graphics card isn't connected fully because the HDMI port is only halfway in. And the screen goes blank. There we go. Right. Let me grab your lights on, bud.
Sorry, I was looking out to see what is turning on.
Can I do that? Yes. Let's unplug that, and we'll plug this into. Oh, it's only USB 3 on the top, no USB 2s. So I'll stick that in the back. and we will see if we can get into the BIOS. Well, see if it fires up first of all. That's going to be obviously a key thing. So let's turn on the power supply.
Bang!
Don't do that. Right, how does that look on the screen? Because I can't really see it. Oh, it's somewhat visible, isn't it?
There's David Jones, he was in my desk.
That'll do. Right, I'm going to turn this on now just so you can see what it looks like, and then we'll see after if we can get into the BIOS and see what's going on. So with all the luck in the world.
Bang! Not you, Davy Jones. Davy Jones.
Oh, it's turned on.
It's
Dave, you need a haircut, dude.
got his grandfather's hair.
Right, so that's turned off and is reset, so that's probably memory training because we did reset the BIOS at the beginning. Look at him, he's so scraggy, isn't he? He went out and got wet the other day. He come in and it took him ages to dry off. The others are like dry in seconds. I like it, a lot of people said bang. Kitty Dave looks like he's full of static. He does, doesn't he? It's actually quite hilarious. I can't work out whether careful in there.
Davey, you better get him because I can't be on camera. I'd have to use her.
Come here, mate. Oh. It's alright, I got you. Okay, what's that in there? It's a pewter. Right, there you go. Stay. No, stay. The opposite of move.
Let's get you down. Do you want some food? Let's get you some food.
Smoke effect RGB.
That's all that already.
That is quite nice looking, isn't it, to be fair? That's a nice looking setup. So let's see if it's actually worked. And we'll go into HDMI 4, which hopefully is going to have... Hey, there we go. So you can see my ugly mug in the top corner. And you can also see the BIOS. Well, I can't see the BIOS because it's behind me now. So I'm going to have to turn around to be able to actually interact with said BIOS. But it's worked. That's good. So we've got CPU speed, etc. So let's go into... What do we want? EPR ready, yeah, easy light control, that's good. Let's go into the advanced settings. Did I press that twice? Yeah. Something bizarre with the mouse there. So what do we want? We want settings. Because that fan noise is starting to annoy me already. So system status, time and date is completely foobar. So minus 12, 30, no 30th today, isn't it? Yes.
Did you use the ARGB hub?
No, I didn't in the end, didn't need it. Someone said I didn't need it. They were absolutely right. Time is 23. That'll do.
Stuart Cleary, what was there a bill tonight? WTF?
That's all okay. Oh, we need native power management, resizable bar, native ASPM
Coming up, Flame.
enabled.
No.
And we want L1 for the graphics card. CPI integrated, yeah, that's all fine. USB configuration, yeah, that's fine. Power management, yeah, that's fine. UEFI, utility driver disabled, definitely. Boot screen display disabled. You want to disable that because that's bad news these days. Post beep, we'll have that enabled. Fast boot disabled. And let's go into hardware monitor a minute. And let's sort those fans out. That is much, much better. Pump RPM. I don't think the pump actually does anything. It should in theory get some reading, but it doesn't want to. So. Oh, and the one at the back, I suppose we should configure that as well. That'll do. And in terms of overclocking settings, we want to go in and we've set to water cooler, PL limits disabled, so that's fine. So we can save that. And this is where we find out if it was actually a blank disk or not. If it's a blank disk, it'll just go straight back to the BIOS now. Oh, did I turn on XMP? Don't think I did. Or did I? Was that the first thing I did? No, I didn't turn on XMP, so I'm glad it rebooted. Turn on XMP. Our CPU core temperature is 24 degrees Celsius, not bad. Which is actually, it's 22.9 degrees Celsius in the room. So 1 degree over ambient currently. I'm happy with that. And we've turned on XMP, so let's do that. And just to make sure that it works, I'll grab my Windows 11 installer disk. And we could start doing the install, possibly. Woo! So it works, and there's no problems. Fingers crossed. Well, they're saying that it's not come back up now. Oh no, there we go. Is it booting? I did see something flash up on the screen then. Ever so slightly. And again. Oh, there we go. Yeah, Windows setup. Here we go. Life is good. What do you reckon, Dave? Is life good? Is if you're a cat in the mub house, that's for damn sure.
Outsiders wanting to get in.
Oh, God. Well, I forgot this is thinks it's 4K, doesn't it? So I've got no chance of seeing that whatsoever. Install now. Just let it do its thing. And I can start packing up some of this stuff, and we'll take some of your questions. If you've got any comments, although actually technically at the moment I can't even see the screen, so Kath might have to read them out. If there is any questions. No questions? Good. That's my kind of night.
David Jones, don't chew boxes.
Dave. Don't chew boxes, for fuck's sake.
Can't say that to a baby.
I can, because that is money right there. I have to sell Dave to make that money back now. I'll swap you for that nice cat in the garden.
His name's Jack.
Jack. Captain Jack. Oh, hang on. What's going on here? I can't even see what that says. Activate Windows.
Davy Jones, you're funny.
I don't have a Windows key. I can't see which one that is. It's the bottom but one.
You're going to fall off there, Davy Jones.
I should have done a newer version of this, really.
Candy.
Yep, there's a blank drive. Good, good.
Right, question. Was the Wi-Fi enabled because my Bluetooth would show in Device Manager and Wi-Fi needed to be enabled in BIOS?
Yeah, Bluetooth should be... Yeah, Bluetooth and Wi-Fi should be enabled as default in the BIOS when you get the motherboard first running. You may find that, depending on which version of Windows you install, if you install a version of Windows which doesn't support this motherboard out of the box, then it won't install the Wi-Fi drivers when you come to install it, or the Bluetooth drivers. which is when I would suggest going over to the MSI website and download MSI Center and then do auto update and let it update all the drivers. I've tried doing it myself manually. You can do it, but I would say arguably you're better going to the MSI site and just let it do it itself, and it'll do the updates. So that's if your Wi-Fi for some reason is not working.
Kev said, what's the general rule of thumb when setting your phone curves after moving?
I don't really have a general rule of thumb. The only thing which I would say is my personal preference is basically quietness. So as long as I can tolerate the noise, I'll keep on upping the speed of the fans, like when it's idling, and then I'll up it to a point that I'm comfortable with, but give a little bit of a buffer so that if there's like, say for instance, like you've got nothing on the screen, you open Chrome or you open up a program, which is when a CPU generally does spike. If the fans don't ramp too much then, and I'm happy with the temps, then I'll leave it as it is. But if it's a little bit too rampy, then I might lower the curve further on just to maintain the high RPMs at the lower end, but then I don't really want it ramping up unless it's under like an extreme load. If that makes sense. Kind of does in my head. Whether it does in real life is another matter.
Is this PC going on the marketplace, or is there a buyer already?
This will probably be on the marketplace, to be honest. I don't have a buyer in mind. I've got about 3 or 4 people which constantly message me and say, oh Mike, what PCs have you got at the moment? Or they say, oh, I'm getting paid at the end of the month, have you got any builds planned? And I quite often tell them, say, oh, this is what I've got kind of in mind, I'm not too sure, but this is the kind of rough spec, this is the rough price, I'm looking at it, I'll let you know closer to the time. And generally I don't always hear back straight away, so quite often it ends up I just put it on Facebook Marketplace and wait and see what happens. Sometimes I'm on Facebook Marketplace and it's waiting for absolutely ages and no one's interested at all because I put it at the wrong time of month because people haven't been paid or whatever. But then other times I can do it and it's they sell in the first day. So it's very much one of those things that it's luck of the draw, really. What's that?
We haven't seen it.
Oh god. Poppy's licking her son to death. Yeah, we're doing good. Windows is installing. That's always a nice thing to see. And I can pack away some of this stuff. I wonder if I can actually get that to sit on the floor. It's nice and quiet. The fans are actually running, but it does seem very quiet. And actually it looks quite nice as well. I haven't given it the side-on treatment yet. Not bad. The GSkill RAM looks kind of nice. Trying to work out which one is the hot pipe. It's hard to tell. But yeah, I think it's actually quite a cracking looking computer. Yeah, I'm quite pleased with that. Fred Young says, have you used Razer Chroma for controlling your RGB? I have briefly. I'm not always overly convinced with Razer software, to be honest with you. I do struggle with that a little bit. And I'm still struggling with the dynamic lighting in Windows. Some motherboards support it, but I've found nothing else will. Kev says, do you have a price in mind? I honestly have no idea. I've not even worked it out. I should do, really. Can you pass over my whiteboard thing, please?
Which one, the top one?
Bottom one, please. Oh. Thank you very much. Let's wipe that off there. I should go through and actually work out how much this is cost, or how much is worth. Worth. Because I don't cost is, again, it's one of those things that you can argue. Right, United Kingdom. Yes, we're United. No. Let's connect you to an Ethernet.
Andy. Oh, back to sleep, Davey.
I can't remember what the thing is for this now. Oh, I know. There's two ways of doing this, isn't there? You can do a command console thing, or you can use Ethernet, if I could find the Ethernet cable. One of these is the Ethernet cable, I'm sure of it. There we go. I knew I had one somewhere. I had to tuck the Ethernet cable away because, surprisingly, the cats were going after it. How unusual. Let's give it some LAN. Ethernet, identifying. Give me internet. Ow. Standing on all sorts of things here. Network connected. So next. Oh, go on, you check for updates. Right. Let's go from the top. So 13500, B760, GSkill, 1 TB NVMe, ARC A770, case, PSU, cooler, Bueller. What else is there? Processor, motherboard, RAM, storage. That's all the motherboard taken care of. Graphics card, case, power supply, cooler. That's it, isn't it? Seems like there's not a lot.
NVMe?
Yeah, that's in there. Right, 13500.
Round this up.
Yeah, I don't even know how much they go for these days. 13500, I'm sure, is probably about £200 now. Actually, I should look it up. Where is my computing telephone? Does anybody want to give me a call? So I know where my phone is.
It's on silent, I expect.
Oh, yeah, it will be.
Do you want me to ring it?
Yeah, go on then. It's going on my wrist, so it must be somewhere around here.
Right. Do you want to use my phone?
No. Hate your phone. I think I know where it is. I think I left it in the bog house. Hey, Kath. I got a missed call from you. Yeah.
Right. Are you doing it on your own phone then?
I do it on my phone now. Sorry for it being me. Right, name your device. Let's just call this Intel. Next. Oh, it hasn't asked me for a password or anything. Right. 13500. How much are they these days? I'm going to do this from Amazon. I think that's probably the easiest way. So 13500. No offers available. That can't be 236 quid, surely. Right, let's do i5. Jesus. We're saying it's 240 quid, but that can't never be right, because I'm sure we paid less than that. Lowest price new, 236 quid. Okay, we'll go with £236. Unless anyone in the chat knows of anywhere else that is cheaper. No, okay. Right, B760 Tomahawk. That's going to be expensive. B760 Tomahawk. DDR4 Wi-Fi. What's that at the moment? I think 170. Yeah, about 170. That's not friendly pricing, is it? So the GSkill RAM, I have no idea, but I'll put the price in there. GSkill. Neo DR4. Wow, that's not cheap either. So that looks like it's 100 quid, but I'm gonna say 50, because 50 quid for DDR RAM these days. The NVMe, I think, was 45. The A770. Now I've no idea how much those are these days, so I might have to do a Google on that one, because they were very cheap, but they went up. Asrock A770. 8 gig version, bloody hell. Now it's weird because the new ones go for like 244, or you can get a used one for 220. So I'm going to say 244. It's not going to be worth that, is it? I wouldn't even dream of getting that for it. Ceres 500, Ceres 300, TG ARGB, 77.99. So let's say 78. The PSU is going to be, I'm guessing, about 90. So BM3 750. Scan computers is probably the cheapest one. Christ, 95 quid. And the cooler, I'm going to say 40. Because it's probably worth more than that, but whatever. So, CAF calculator, please.
Just said you were doing it on your phone.
Oh yeah, I forgot. The world's most expensive calculator is on here somewhere. Utilities calculator. Right, let's top this up. Clear, so 236 plus 170 plus 50 plus 45 plus 244 plus 78 plus 95 plus 40 equals, Jesus, £958. That's a lot of money. It looks nice, but I don't think it looks £1,000 nice. Or does it? What do you think? That's a lot of money. That's a lot of kit there for £1,000, but I would think you could probably do better. Although saying that, it's hard to, isn't it? Because the prices are what the prices are these days. Like, oh, can't see PC for your Windows 11 screen. Sorry, that's my fault. Let's do. I don't want to connect to any of those networks. Set up for personal use. Sign in. Right, let's see if this glitch still works. No at thanks.com. Password. Create an account. Oh, it's making me do it. Oh, fucking hell. Right.
Candy. Good girl.
There we go. Things. Something went wrong. Yay, there we go. Who's going to use this device?
Candy.
Let's just call it PC. Where's your mouse gone? Password, yep. We like those. Don't use those. No. Required only. No. 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 Right, let's do this thing. Main camera. There we go. We're back onto the computer. So, a letter says I switched to something like I signed in with my MS account, then switched to a local account. That's one way of doing it. Ian Taylor says good price for a quality build. Sky Stalker says I would ask for 999 quid. Take no less than 950. Ira Wolfman says US pricing compared with EU, UK are completely different. Yeah, it is. Mookie MC says start at 1,000 and go as low as 900. William Bodie. Oh yeah, Open RGB. Sure, Mike has mentioned that before. Yeah, I'm more of inclined to swing towards Signal RGB. I quite like that.
Candy.
Hello, Christopher Ackerman. How you doing? Viali 100 says need a GPU support. I don't know. It's pretty solid in there. Ugly Bob says advertise it as free to someone who can come and sort out my loft. Rick says good parts in that machine. Viali says I can see it sagging. Is it? Maybe it is ever so slightly.
We could just stick Dave under there.
I do have a GPU riser bracket thing here somewhere. Oh no, it's a white one I think. But I will. I might get one and get a riser.
There's a black and white build with it in.
Don't you have a mini spirit level? I probably do actually, somewhere. I think it's actually on the back of that monitor. Or did I throw it out? Because it was never level. A little magnetic one on the back of here. Yeah, it's gone.
I've never seen it.
Or is it on the back of this one?
That little orange one.
Yeah, I did have it here somewhere. It probably doesn't help because the PC isn't on a particularly level surface to begin with, so we'll see. Chris recommends his PC looking great. Thank you very much. Mike, get an easy DIY RGB pillar support. I have actually got an easy DIY RGB pillar support thing here somewhere, but where is it? I do recall having one. I don't know what I did with it. I think it is in here actually. I went through this, I got a little mountain of little boxes here with various little bits and pieces in. And I went through, there we are. I went through and was like, oh, that'd be handy, but I got a feeling it's a white one. Yeah, I've got the RGB GPU bracket, but it is a white one, so yeah, I can't really use that because that'd look weird. But I probably will just order a cheapo one on Amazon because it's quite an easy thing to do a nice little video on and say, look, if you want to support your GPU but you don't want to spend a bunch of money, then this might be just the ticket for you. There is one you can get on Amazon, which is like almost like one of those things, like an acro prop. You can just unscrew it and it fits in perfectly. Letter says, that's why I like the motherboard rotated 90 degrees. The GPU hangs straight down, no sag. Yeah, there is that to it. Viali says, the price is good. We have seen it built properly, unlike ordering online and getting crap. Yeah, I suppose there is that to it. Oh, I can't see the screen now, can I don't think I got HD. Oh. Sorry, I think I just run a YouTube ad. Did I run a YouTube ad then?
Yeah, I think you did. I've got one.
Why is that added that? No, that wasn't my fault. Well, it kind of was my fault. I did press the button, so yeah, that is on me.
Christopher Ackerman, our PC sleeves for cables safe to use. Was thinking of getting some to make it look nicer.
Yeah, I don't think sleeves are too bad. I think sleeves are probably better than extensions in some cases. And there we go. We have Windows. Yay!
A popsicle stick.
Yeah, that would do it.
Do you want one?
No.
You can colour it in with a Sharpie.
So do some updates. Let it do its thing.
You can colour it in with a Sharpie.
That's not bad. I could do that.
Just to see your fingers tomorrow at work.
Let's says no ads here. Thanks, Brave Browser. Ricky says I'm used to sagging in my life. Yeah, the PCIe slot was never designed for graphics cards like this. Although it does feel, to be honest, the case feels really solid. Like it springs back straight away. But that, Jesus, that heatsink is really hot. Dutch Jan says, grab a lighter, Mike. It's just the right height. To be honest with you, considering how hot this is, I don't think I'd want to run a lighter on it. I don't know where it's getting all that heat from. That is super... Jesus. That is like on fire. Why are the fans not kicking in? That's what I want to know. And only one of the RGB lights is on. Ah, drivers. Or have I borked the bloody... it's not on that one, is it? I can't see the screen. And I'm not pressing YouTube ads again. Where are we? Is that got the drivers on there? Intel system, Intel system. There we go. We're going to get any... Yeah, bizarrely, we've only got one light in the middle. Hmm?
Where's the laser thermometer?
Yeah, that... I think if I cut the laser thermometer...
There, isn't it?
Yeah, it's there. Oh, where?
On that shelf up there.
No, that's the... what's it called? The noise level one. It's in here.
It's the trouble when you get them all coordinating.
Yeah. There we go. So let's turn this on.
You're having fun out there, Candy.
So, oh, I turned the laser off, didn't I? I don't know if the batteries are flat. Scan. It's only 40 odd degrees. Feels a lot hotter though. The back plate of the GPU is 50 degrees. It feels much warmer than that for some reason. I wonder if the batteries need a changer. Oh yeah, the light has just gone out.
Careful, Davey, you're going to fall off.
Open here. Ah, so bloody 9 volt. We got any spare 9 volts?
I don't think we have.
I'll have to buy one.
Oh, yeah, I think we have. That's very good.
So,
I've got another one as well. That was no good.
ah, that's better. Now the laser's working. Laser. Yay, now we got laser. So that there is
But what about the one William sent us?
29. That is in the same drawer, just further back. And because I can't get to it, it's hard work. 48 degrees there. Where's the high hold thing? Mode. Max. So yeah, the back is 48.4. You can't really see that, can you? Because it's on the tiny one. Is that still updating? Oh, why am I right clicking on the wrong screen? Sorry. Actually, let's change the resolution here, because it shouldn't be showing in 4K. That's better. Alright, display adapters. Yeah, Intel ARC. That is installed. But I don't get why only one of the lights is working on it. Because I'm sure they were all RGB, but were they? My memory fails me. Tell me, someone, are all 3 supposed to be RGB, or is it just the middle one? And I'm just losing my mind. And my head torch. I lost my mind and my head torch. Yeah, those are supposed to be RGB as well, I'm sure of it. And they're supposed to be spinning. Because that is ridiculously hot. Wizard says just the middle one. Okay. Thank you. I'll go with that. Probably needs a reboot actually, saying that. After the first install. There we go. There we go. Restarting. Let's see if the fans actually kick in at all during the reboot. Hopefully they will. Where is my main camera? There we go. Back to the main camera. I want to see if they're moving at all. This is odd, they're not. I'm sure they have done. But this seems to be getting hotter than I normally would know, or would be able to tell. Spin, my beauties. Vertical mounts work fine as long as they're not too close to the glass. That's true. Come on, reboot. Kev2427 says, I thought it was just the middle one. That's what it shows on the pics. It could well be. For some reason I seem to think it was 3. I'll have to look at my own video of the review to see what was lit up, because I would have had it...
Perfect.
Well, not perfect, but yeah.
But how it is meant to be changed.
Come on, reboot already. For frig's sake. Let's drink this cup of tea. Jinx Cormer says that GPU sag is not looking good.
Thanks.
It looks absolutely perfect here. It must be the camera. Honestly.
But you can see it on the camera, can't you, from here? It's not even playing.
I think it must be a distortion of the lens, because it isn't really sagging here. Or at least it doesn't appear to be. See, what are we? So at that point there, it's about there. If it is, it's like only 1 or 2 millimeters, if that. But I will put a sag bracket in there, just so it doesn't upset people. And come on, reboot. Sorry ass PC.
Was it flamey?
We'll blow on it. Yeah, there's a lot. Oh, actually, I can touch it. Yeah, it's getting cooler. I can touch it now. It's not that hot. Mookie MC, are we expecting any big AMD or Intel announcements in 2024? Yeah, I think so.
Not raining.
I think, well, AMD we're going to be getting, well, say big. I don't think there's big announcements. You're going to get the 9000 series and 8000 series in 2024. 8000 series towards the beginning, 9000 towards the end. Intel, I don't think have got a lot up their sleeves. I think there's like the 14100, which is basically the 13100, which is basically the 12100. That's going to be released shortly. Intel hopefully might have a roadmap for Battle Mage. That'd be quite nice to see. What else is there? I don't think what else there is. There's obviously Nvidia have got the Super range, which are due out, which we may or may not be having a review sample of. Can't really say. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens at CES. Thermaltake have been mentioning it quite a lot on their posts online. So I'm thinking that there will be... It's their 25th anniversary, so the Thermaltake should have some pretty decent stuff there. I would hope. Whether or not it's just going to be kind of more of the same, whether they're going to do something all new, I think we'll... Chimney. A load of clinkers just fell down the chimney. Weird. Yeah, so there will be some things coming out. Yeah, I don't know. You'd think Thermaltake will do something big for their 25th. This is quite a big milestone. Mick Wood says there is no sag. The PC is an angle that creates an optical illusion on the camera. Yeah, it's like it's maybe a couple of millimeters, if that. Night, Glenn. Thanks for stopping in. Thanks for the super chat earlier. Much appreciated. Why is this thing not rebooting? Come on, give me a break. I haven't got all night. Well, I guess I kind of have now. ACMI4. Oh, it has rebooted. I didn't see that.
Brain Dead Chris asks, are you from the Southwest?
Yes. Right, let's do a shutdown. Can I unplug the USB now? That's always concerning when you unplug a USB and all the RGB turns off and the fans stop, even though I was in the middle of a shutdown. So, right, GPU fans spinning confirmed. Stop spinning confirmed. And a little bit cooler, but not cool. It seems quite warm, so I need to look at that. Shags the Hobo has just joined us, become a supporter. Thank you very much. Mick Wood says if you look at the top of the case, that also appears to slope downwards. Yeah, the lens on that camera is a weird one because it's a variofocal macro, so it looks very slightly, well, off. If I zoom in to, what, 28mm, it should straighten things out. Actually, yeah, no, there is, you're actually right, there is a little bit of a sag to it. It does look like it's pointing downwards slightly. So yeah, I'm not gonna dispute that entirely, but some of it is down to the camera lens as well. But yes, there is a little bit of a, it could do have been up a little bit more. One thing I don't miss is beige PC cases. Funnily enough, actually, I was having a conversation about these not long ago, and I actually quite like the beige PC cases, and Kath quite likes them as well. Don't allow. They took up a lot less room. Right, don't allow. I'm actually going to install the...
Well, we were listening to something, weren't we? And they're going about how most homes don't own a PC now.
Yeah.
Because it's all laptops and tablets. I suppose they are like these.
What we do here is go back. What we do here is go back.
If I use the keyboard for the computer rather than the stream computer, that would make life easier, wouldn't it? Intel drivers, that's what we want. Intel download drivers and software. Activate cookies. Get started. Download now. The Intel driver and support assistant is actually quite decent. It works quite well.
The colour David Underhill hated, not the form factor.
Ah. Yeah, I kind of like the form factor. I kind of almost like the colour as well, like in a retro way.
I don't know about the colour really. It's just...
Beige boxes are great because they just aged really nicely. They just got really filthy and dirty and grubby.
Didn't notice until you...
And it didn't really matter until you bought a new keyboard or mouse or a new monitor and you stuck it on top of your old beige box. It's like, wow, I've really needed to clean that or to let it get some sunlight. Those were good times. Good times indeed. Right, launch.
Mikey's doing a 24-hour New Year's stream by the look of it.
It does seem that way, doesn't it? Right, let's get all the drivers in. Boom. Yeah, I really probably should start wrapping things up now because this is probably going to take a lot longer than I had anticipated.
Uh-oh. Otis.
Right, let's have a quick look through your the rest of your chat. Sorry, is this installing, downloading? Come on. Install.
That's going to fall on you, Oats. Yeah. You could figure that out, couldn't you? That's terrible. Tetris kind of game.
Tetris with the PC.
The biggest box on the top and the thinnest one on the bottom.
So, anybody want to buy a computer? Now I've had you here for this long. Someone buy the damn thing. I'm joking. Although, if you want to buy it, you can. Mike's Unboxing viewers will get a significant discount. A very significant discount. But you would have to come and collect it. That is the caveat, because I'm not shipping it. Because I think that would just be full. Nick Barr says, do you do Klarna?
What's that?
It's that buy now, pay later thing, isn't it? Technically, no.
We're throwing a hat.
Yeah, we'll throw in a Mike's Unboxing hat and potentially a hoodie if we get the right price.
And you're the right size size for the ones we've got left.
Yeah, and if you are the right size for the remaining stock, you'll be onto a winner. If not, then you might be able to...
received this package.
Oh, well done. Nice one.
Totally not necessary, but greatly appreciated. And a cat. No other cats.
Might do. Sorry. Next. Typical install.
Do we USA peeps need to pay in pounds?
You can pay in dollars if you want.
Monopoly money's fine.
Yeah. And a Mike's unboxing hat, yeah, definitely.
That sounds like the days of Christmas. Sing the days of Christmas with it ending on a Mike's unboxing hat.
I don't think I'm able to do that. I keep on forgetting that I'm on an ASUS system, but I'm installing on an MSI. And I keep on seeing Armory Crate on the bottom corner. And it's frustrating me now. 2 software updates available. Available updates. Oh, go on then, install all. What, do whatever.
David Underhill says Aussie dollars are the best. Plastic, so they can go through the wash. Ours are plastic as well.
Yeah, UK dollars now. Sorry, UK dollars. UK pounds are plastic now.
Bush Tucker dollars are now plastic.
Our Bush Tucker pounds. My shoes are still wet from earlier when I went to the shops.
Oh my god.
There's not much worse than putting on wet shoes other than putting on someone else's wet shoes. Because I've got to start boxing all this stuff up and put it away. If I drop something on my foot, I will be in dire straits.
What? Your trainers are more protective than your slippers.
Yeah. Nick Barnes, can it be flat packed? Oof. You never know. Aletta says, as soon as they build a bridge across the pond, I'll visit Mike and buy a PC from him. You might be waiting a while. They can't even build a bridge from England to Wales.
Yeah, they have.
Well, they've done 2, but both of them are rubbish. Jinx Corma says, night worse than wet socks and shoes. Yes. Oof. David Underhill says, UK pounds use a Australia-made polymer substrate. The Australian Reserve Bank makes it and the presses. Happy days. Ira Wolfman says, Ireland to England bridge coming soon. That yeah, we could...
Burned over a fire, trying to dry them is worse.
I agree.
Was it, my
I
darling?
agree.
Is it?
Start, it's gone. Yeah, just install the bloody thing. Ah, dear.
Okay.
How far can Mike throw his Tomahawk? That's a good question. Probably not far enough.
Throw his drill quite far.
I still don't understand the pump on this thing. Because it doesn't seem to be registering any RPM, and I can't actually feel anything, but it's all very cool. You can hear a very slight whine of the pump. Ira Wolfman, is a Tomahawk like a Frisbee? No, Tomahawk is like a axe. I'm pretty sure a Tomahawk would have been a native... Is it an Indian American or American Indian? Or I'm not sure the exact terminology, but I believe the Tomahawk would have been a weapon used by an Indian, possibly. Like a hatchet. Yeah, Tomahawk's like a small axe, or more for fighting.
Is it what they used to carve?
Yeah, Native American hatchet. Thank you, Indians. See, I know some things. I says, I meant, would it fly back to you like a boomerang? No. You'd hope not.
It probably would in our luck.
What's the thing? Oh, I can't see anything now. I must have broken the stream at some point. I think it's pressing that YouTube ad button. Oh well, never mind. Right, I think, yeah, I think I've done pretty much everything I can do, and I've got to go to work tomorrow morning, so I really should think of it being wrapping this up. So, what camera am I on? I'm still on this one. I'm still waiting for that. Right, I'm going to let that carry on do its thing because that's going to take ages now. And I don't want to beat up all night. So there we go, back to the main camera. So hopefully you have all enjoyed watching me assemble this beauty. I'm actually really pleased with it, apart from obviously the slight sagging, but just 9-volt battery just ain't going to cut it. So I'm going to have to order one of those little things from Amazon, little screw adapter thing, we'll get that stuck in there. I think the Ceres 500 actually came with an adapter which you could stick in there and would raise it up, but it's a little bit on the kind of cumbersome side. So I wouldn't mind one of those smaller versions just to stick in there, just to alleviate that a little bit. I think it looks worse than it actually is on the camera, but we will try it anyway. So, like I said, hopefully you've enjoyed watching me assemble this PC. Oh, bless him. If you want to pick up any of the items that we've used in this build, should you feel the urge to, I would say probably arguably the case would be one of the key things. Maybe the fans, the CT140 fans, which are actually really good fans, and I've used them pretty much almost non-stop in the PC behind me, which actually looks really weird now looking at it. This looks really compact and compressed, whereas that looks really spacious and open, I guess because it's black versus white. So that's actually quite a nice contrast, isn't it, between the two? But yeah, a cracking looking PC. Thermaltake again certainly smashed it out of the park with the design of the Ceres system, in my opinion, which I am entitled to. You may think differently, but yeah, if you want to pick one up, there will be links in the video description. Also for some of the other stuff like the motherboard, processor, CPU cooler, probably not so much. Graphics card possibly, although I would say probably the graphics card wise, just hang on in there. We've only got, what, a week roughly? Week and a bit to go until CES, so it's going to be really interesting to see what comes out with the new Intel Super Series, whether or not they're going to be doing a price reduction or whether or not they're going to be having the new Super range replace the existing price points. If they do, I think the new 4070 Ti Super is going to be one which is going to draw a lot of attention now that it's got the RAM up from 12 gigs to 16 gigs to make it a little bit more appealing to a lot of buyers, although it's still going to be kind of 700 quid, which is a lot of money for a graphics card, let's be real. Anyway, hopefully you'll have a great new year. Chances are tomorrow, I will be on the Discord, but like I said, I'm working tomorrow in the shop, so I've got to get up early tomorrow morning after doing the stream, and chances are by the time I get home tomorrow, I'm going to be pretty much flat out counting sheep in my sleep over on the chair over there, but I will try and stick my head into the Discord just to say hello and wish everybody a happy new year if I'm still awake. But yeah, let's see out 2023 on a slightly positive note. I think things are slightly looking up for the PC market in general, and there's some stuff to look forward to. Although if CES is a complete dud, then I think the rest of the year is going to suck. But we'll see how things go. Thanks again to everybody for your kindness over Christmas, sending gifts, etc. All your super chats, your well wishes and all that kind of stuff, and just being part of the community, because it would be really boring for me and Kath to just sit here and do this on our own. So without you lot, all of this is impossible. So we are massively thankful to YouTube and also to you, the viewer, for helping us get to where we are and being part of this community and helping it grow. And long may it continue through to 2047 or whatever it's going to be. I don't know. Who cares? Anyway. Thanks very much for watching. I've been Mike. This is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To. Oh, actually, happy birthday again to Colin Hilton on your 80th. Amazing job. I've been Mike. This is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To. And hopefully we'll catch you in the very next video. Thanks for watching and Happy New Year, everybody. Bless you all. And try and find the magic button. Here we are. And good night.